Chardonnay, maybe not quite what it is in other parts of the country, and it is a new stadium today as well. We're opening a 50,000-seat facility, a new Stanford Stadium, an intimate Stanford Stadium, a stadium where the crowd will have an all-important part in the football game. And what a football game we expect as the midshipmen of Navy make a house call on the hometown Stanford Cardinal. And hello again, everybody. I'm Barry Tompkins. I got a former Heisman Trophy winner on one side, Jim Plunkett, and of course the coach's coach, Bill Walsh, on the other side. Bill, you were instrumental in the rebuilding of this new Stanford Stadium. To do it from the end of last year, right after the end of the game against Notre Dame, to kick off today, truly a remarkable task.
Remarkable. It only took 3 or 4 days to take down the old stadium. 3 or 4 days. But then they had to go to work on a new one. And in 9 months, they built this state-of-the-art facility. Every facet of it is beautifully done. And the crowd is so close, the fans are so close to the field, that they'll truly be on top of the game and enjoying it. In the old stadium, as you know, the restrooms were closer to the field than the players. So here we are. We're looking for a great game in a magnificent new stadium.
Well, nobody knows the old stadium any better than the guy on my left, Jim Plunkett, who played here. Intimate stadium here, different Stanford football team, different Stanford Stadium, but also a very good quarterback. That's been a history here at Stanford as well. Trent Edwards, people are telling me, Plunk, maybe the Jay Cutler of this year.
No, I certainly believe that. I think he's playing with a lot more confidence this year. He's running that offense extremely well. You know, there he is warming up, getting ready for the game. And I think one of the things that he's doing extremely well this year is running with the ball, moving those chains, getting those first downs, keeping that ball moving. The amount of points that Stanford defense is giving up, I think he needs to be able to put more points on the board to keep Stanford ahead in the game.
Well, I think you just touched upon one of the points, particularly for Stanford. Navy runs the option. Not too many teams in the country run it anymore, and they run it as good as anybody.
Oh, they certainly do. They rush it for over 300 yards a game. They're very difficult to stop on the ground, so Stanford's going to have to find a way to make Navy throw the football, and if they can, then they'll have control of the football game and hopefully come away a winner.
All right, Coach, I know every coach that I've ever talked to just hates to play teams that run the option. You see it maybe once a year, tough to prepare for.
Well, you see it less and less, Barry, but the teams that run it are expert. Navy is probably as well coached a team as there is in the entire country at any level. They select their players for the option, and they run it beautiful. So preparing for it is most difficult. We don't have the kind of people to run the option, but our safeties are going to have to make the difference. They're going to have to fill when they pitch that ball and stop that pitch man.
Well, I think that's going to be the story of this game. Can anybody stop anybody? Both these teams have allowed points to be put up against them so far this year. Navy has won their game so far. Stanford hadn't been able to do that yet. Can they do it today? We'll find out.
Summer may be over, but the deals on Toyotas are just getting hotter. Right now, get 0% APR financing or $1,000 cash back on Sienna. 0% or $2,000 on Highlander and 4Runner. And 0% for a whole 60 months or $2,000 back on the 8-passenger Sequoia. And check out the redesigned Camry and RAV4. The Toyotas are ready to roll, but the deals end soon. So hurry into your Toyota dealer today. Toyota, moving forward.
This town is not big enough for the two of us.
Hold on there, cowboy.
I show comparison rates from other insurance companies and...
That's great. Esurance has them, too. Can you also buy the policy?
Does not compute.
At Esurance, if we can't give you the best deal, we'll show you where you can and help you buy the policy right away.
Does not talk.
Looks like the competition couldn't handle Esurance. Need a ride?
Sure.
Quote and compare. Save on auto insurance at esurance.com today.
Not all the energy for our fuel comes from oil in the ground. A lot of it comes from our people, who year in and year out put so much of their energy into everything they do. So you can be sure that when you put Valero gas into your tank, you're going to get a lot out of it. Valero, the energy to take you anywhere.
On your wedding day, it's all about the bride. Her dress, her flowers, her hair. But when everyone is looking at her, she'll be looking at you. So rent your tuxedo at Men's Warehouse, and you'll look almost as good as she does. you're going to like the way you look. I guarantee it.
And you get a look at Walt Harris in his second year as the head coach here at Stanford. It's Navy and Stanford. Barry Tompkins, Jim Plunkett, the coach Bill Walsh alongside to tell you about it. Want to welcome all of you watching on the Eastern Seaboard who are also watching this game. And here is a look in over the stadium, the new stadium at Stanford. Tonight's game is offered to you in high definition. You can see all the wrinkles in all our faces. Bill, one of the things I did want to ask you about as we prepare for the opening kickoff here, Stanford going to get the football first. Been a lot of talk about cut blocks, chop blocks. Navy does use a cut block. That is a legal block.
It's a legal block. Barry, we used it with the San Francisco 49ers, and people criticized us and wanted to have us fined. Navy uses it almost as an art form. They cut right at the knee level. And with big men playing now, they can't get low enough to defend themselves against that kind of block.
All right, so Harmon is going to kick this away. It is a short kick that is going to be let go. Finally, Kimball picks it up at about the 7-yard line. He's got no place to go. Surrounded down at about the 12. Great coverage for Navy. Clay Carter on the stop downfield. Stanford will start deep in its own territory. Trent Edwards, the quarterback, you see his numbers on the year, just one interception. That one, however, was in the end zone against San Jose State. It was a big one. Stanford, of course, having lost to San Jose State last week by a point, 35-34, lost up at Oregon. Oregon, very good football team. And, of course, Autzen Stadium up in Eugene, a tough place to play. Oregon a winner by a point and a come-from-behind effort against Oklahoma this afternoon. First offensive snap. Moore starts in motion, now comes back the other way. Give us to Kimball, the tailback. He gets a little gap across the 20 to about the 22-yard line. Got to pick up about 8.
Well, they're playing a basic 3-4 defense, at least on the first down of the play. In that case, we should be able to run inside on them because they're just not big enough to be able to handle us one-on-one.
And a good solid running game, I think, will help Trent Edwards play action pass, get the ball down the field when he wants to, not when he has to.
Got to look at Stanford's starting lineup. Richard Sherman, incidentally, is the freshman starting at a wideout position. Mark Bradford, their starting wideout, out for the season perhaps. Kimball again, right side, first down and more across the 30 to about the 31-yard line. And that's something Stanford has not been able to do real well, is run the football. For Navy on the defensive side of the ball, Ty Adams with Larry Silk and John Chan on the down line. They play a 3-4. Linebackers very active. Navy, in general, they're undersized, as Bill Walsh pointed out, but they get after you. A couple of changes in the secondary for Navy as DeJuan Price, who is normally one of their starters, is out. Jeremy Miles gets the start ahead of him. In motion comes Sherman, and Edwards will go up for the first time and throws for his tight end. That was Jim Dre.
Well, Navy has shown 3 fronts. The first play was a 3-4, then a 4-2, and this was an overshifted 3-4. So they're going to mix that front up, and we'll have to see if Stanford can cope with it.
And their best lineman, John Chan, put good pressure on Trent Edwards that time, forced him to throw a little quick and inaccurate and over his head.
Well, as he said, Navy gets after you defensively. Slot left this time. And to give us to Kimball at the short side of the field, no place to go, and he is wrapped up. Picked up maybe a yard, if that. I doubt he's going to get that. It's going to be 3rd down and 10.
It's really tough to run the ball early in the game because the defense is fresh and they're reacting quickly. The best time, hopefully, is when you're ahead in the second half and people fatigue, and then you can run it down their throats. That's what we did with the 49ers, and that's, I'm sure, what Jim did with the Raiders.
Good look at Paul Johnson on the other sideline, Walt Harris. Paul Johnson has done an unbelievable job. Bill Walsh referred to how well this team is coached. Straight back, deep drop this time. Edwards looks downfield. Now he throws, and the catch is made and dropped by Dre. And so the Cardinal going to have to give it up here. Another look at it, Plunk.
And, you know, you wonder if there's just too much adrenaline flowing in Stanford's team right now. Twice Edwards was a little high with both passes. Both of them almost catchable, but still a little too much, a little too high.
That's the deep man Tomlinson to receive this punt of Otoveggio. It's a short kick. Tomlinson's going to let it go, and it takes a Stanford bounce and will go out of bounds at about the 33-yard line. So Navy will start in pretty good field position, and we'll see what Stanford can do about stopping Navy's option. It's a classic triple option. They'll almost always put the ball in the belly of the fullback to start things, and then the quarterback will either keep it, and they have very much of a running quarterback in Brian Hampton. He had a huge game against Army last year. Those are his numbers on the year so far. Good runner. They can pitch it to either of the slot backs. Singleton or Campbell will get the start. This time Singleton in motion, and they give straight ahead to Ballard, and Ballard picks up about 6. Exactly what you want on first down. Offensively for the Naval Academy, Pritchett, Galley, and Rossi, Harper, and Meek up front. And then the backfield of Campbell and Ballard. We'll see a lot of guys, actually. The wideouts, Tomlinson and Washington. The other slot back is Singleton. And again, that option. And again, this time it's the quarterback, Hampton. Across midfield. It is so tough.
Well, he had me fooled. I thought the fullback had the ball.
Stanford starting defense brought to you by StubHub. Horn, Udofia, and Egbo up front. And so far, they have been completely fooled.
You know, obviously, this is going to be a true test for Stanford's defense. They've given up 320 yards per game in their first 2 games of the season. Now they face a team that runs the ball exceptionally well, and it's going to be very difficult, you know, for Stanford, unless they can really get something going in stopping this run. It's going to be a long day for that Stanford defense out there.
Yeah, so far they haven't been able to do anything about it. Harrison was dinged up, but he appears to be okay.
And here's a look at their option with Hampton at quarterback. He reads if they come down with the tackle, he takes it outside. They took a pitch man away. He turns it up the field, you know, and picks up 7-8 yards on the carry.
And a nice block by Campbell, one of the smallest starters in college football. 5'6", 165, and he got his guy right out of there.
Did you see how many Stanford guys jumped on that fullback?
Yeah.
Half the team.
Yeah.
Were fooled by it.
But don't you have to tackle a fullback no matter what?
I'm sure you do, but they're going to have to keep their pad level right and square to the line of scrimmage. They can't just turn and run in there figuring he's got the ball. They have to protect their own area before they do anything else. I'll tell you one thing, Stanford gave up the ball with 2 incomplete passes. If they do that again, we're going to have a long night. Stanford will.
But you know, you mentioned about the enthusiasm of the academy teams. You know, I tell you, I've played against them, and you know, they're undersized because of requirements, height and weight and everything else. But they fly around the field. For them, this is, you know, a weekend off. You know, getting a chance to play football, not, you know, doing their drills and doing all the things that they do at the academy. So for them to be able to play another football team and have a good time, I mean, they're enjoying the heck out of it.
Well, you know, it's a good football team. We talked about Paul Johnson. The last 3 years under Paul Johnson, Navy is 28-11, and the 3 years before that, they were 3-30. So he's doing something right.
He absolutely is.
Well, he brought that option system in. He knows it frontwards and backwards, every detail, every technique, and they're all learning it year-round.
And if nothing else, this team is a disciplined team.
There's no question about that. Here's Hines, comes in motion. And this time Hampton on the keep again. He's going to get outside. At the 45, the 40, a flag is down as Hampton takes it to the 37-yard line.
Yeah, we had I think it was a block from behind out by the flanker.
So we will wait on the call. This is going to come back. Now, this is a situation Navy, of course, needless to say, does not like to get itself into long yardage situations because they are not a passing football team, and that's an understatement. They've completed 3 so far this year.
Holding, number 79 offense, 10-yard penalty, replay first down.
And the bad thing about Stanford on defense is that, you know, their leading tacklers are in the secondary, you know, and that's never a good sign. And here's the option that Hampton takes it outside, reads it extremely well, turns it up the field, and the secondary has to come in and make the tackle.
You saw 79 Pritchett on the hold. There he is right there.
Now, this is a tough situation for Navy because now, you know, they probably won't throw the ball, but they are in a passing situation, but they're going to try to run to get out of it.
Well, they've been able to run at will so far today, so it'll be first down and 20.
Which one is Will?
Do you remember him?
Well, I'll tell you, the Stanford guys are jumping on their fullback like he's the only weapon they have, and the quarterback comes out all alone, let alone pitch the ball. So I hope with Stanford adjusts, or it's going to be a long day for Stanford.
Well, again, I just think they're a very difficult football team to play against. I love the way they run this option. I love the way Air Force runs the option. This time a slot left.
Unbalanced line.
And here's the pitch this time to Campbell. Campbell cuts it, gets it across midfield, lost the football, but Navy got it back. Jumping on it was Shun White. So it cost Navy a couple of yards. Campbell had picked up about 10. As it is, there'll be a gain of about 8.
Here's the option once again. Fakes it up the middle. And quarterback pitches it out to White. Or Campbell, I should say. And as you said, it's like throwing a pass. He picks up 9 yards on first down.
So now 2nd and 11 for Navy. They come in the slot right this time. Sharp in the slot to the right side. Or Barnes, rather. And this time they jump Hampton right now and did not allow him anything. Chris Horn that time right on the quarterback.
And if you can play the option that way, you know, you'll be able to stop it. That was just a great individual play by Chris Horn that time. He beats his man, makes the tackle before Hampton can even pitch it out there. He gets penetration right here. He has no chance to pitch it out, or it could have been another big gainer, but it was stopped because of the penetration by Chris Horn.
So it'll be 3rd down and 13 now for the Naval Academy, just short of midfield at the 48-yard line. Ballard remains the fullback. And this time Hampton straight back to pass. Has to roll away from pressure. Now he throws, and it is caught. No, hit the ground first. It was going to be short of the first down anyway. Tomlinson, the intended receiver, made the catch, but it took a hop first. Here's another look at it, and that is a duck.
Yeah, I don't think Navy will win the game with a pass unless it's just a single pass deep down the field later.
Vitello will do the punting for the Naval Academy. It's a twisting kick, tough kick to handle. Kimball does handle it and goes down immediately at the 15-yard line. Chris Hobbs was the deep man for Stanford, and not Kimball. We'll jump away, no score, 9:59 left. First period, we're coming back.
At GMC, our engineers seek out technology that can give our SUVs improved control and apply it. Introducing the all-new 2007 GMC Yukon. With StabiliTrack, featuring active sensors that read the road 500 times per second, providing an enhanced level of stability. Looking beyond the drawing board is just one more way we engineer to the highest standard, professional grade.
Every day I get in the queue to get on the bus that takes me to you. I don't want to cause no fuss, but can I?
Redesigned from the inside out, the next Nissan Quest, part of the next generation of Nissan thinking.
Building the fastest car in its class doesn't mean leaving intelligence, beauty, and control behind. The 2006 306 horsepower IS from Lexus at your Lexus dealer.
Welcome back. Just under the 10-minute mark remaining here in the first period. Each team coming up empty on its first possession. Stanford will start at the 15-yard line. They were not able to solve the riddle of that triple option.
No, they weren't. They were getting big chunks at a time, and only a penalty really saved Stanford from possibly Navy scoring.
And I think Stanford's going to have to make a series of first downs every time they have a possession. They just can't go 3 and out because if Navy gets field position, they score.
And they use up a lot of the clock in doing so, generally speaking.
Plus, they're wearing that Stanford defense out, period.
Toby Gerhardt in the ball game at tailback for Stanford, a freshman who I think is going to have a big career. This is Gerhardt. And Gerhardt doesn't get much. He got about 5. Good line push that time on the Stanford offensive line.
Gerhardt's really a strong ball carrier. He's about 225 to 230, and he's strong, physically strong, and he breaks tackles. So when he goes down, he always goes down falling forward. He gets the extra yard or 2.
Broke the California career high school rushing record. 3,200 yards as a senior. There's Moore, starts in motion, now comes back the other way, and they give us to Gerhardt again, and Gerhardt will get close to a first down. He's got it. Across the 25 to 26 yard line. Well, Stanford last weekend lost Mark Bradford, likely for the season. An unusual injury. It was the ligament between his big toe and his second toe. And then Nick Frank had a career-ending injury. He had just taken too many shots, was starting to feel a tingling sensation. The doctor said, you know, you can be 100% if you don't play football anymore. So that was kind of a no-brain decision for him. Clear out over the middle, and Gerhardt thinking of where he was going before he was thinking about catching.
Well, they can't afford to do that.
You got an opportunity like that, you got to make the catch and turn it upfield. But it was only a 3-man rush that time, gave Trent Edwards plenty of time to find an open receiver down the field. Couldn't find one, dropped it to his drop-off guy, Gerhardt, over the middle, and it didn't look like he took his eyes off it, but I think he was thinking of where he was going to run.
So it'll be 2nd and 10. Moore in the slot to the left side. Now in motion. And they give you Gerhardt again, and Gerhardt this time is stopped right as he got started. In fact, never did get started. Larry Silk right there, and then he had help from Tyler Tidwell.
Well, Navy's changing their front every down, and I'm not sure that's confusing Stanford or not, but they're getting off their blocks very quickly against the run.
Lost a yard on the play, make it 3rd down and 11 now. Trent Edwards and the Stanford Cardinal.
And this is where Stanford, has to convert, keep possession of that football, keep it away from that triple option of Navy.
3 wide outs for Stanford now. Miller in the slot, slotted inside of Sherman. Moore to the far side. Single setback. Edwards straight back to pass. Has time. Throws wide open. The catch that time was Michael Miller. So Edwards got to be thinking, what do I have to do here?
Yeah, perfectly thrown ball. Should have been caught over the middle. It was a double zone. It was a perfect read by Trent and the receiver going straight up the middle as the 2 safeties
see the
wide
hole
on
in
the field.
Defense right there.
Right.
And he read it well. Perfect throw.
Out of Edgeo to do the punting once more. Tomlinson, the deep man for the Naval Academy. Much better kick here. This is a good kick. Will drive Tomlinson to the 30-yard line. Starts back. It's a 35. Stutter step to about the 40-yard line. And that's where Navy will start. Good field position once again. And with that, we'll jump off the track. 7 minutes, 48 seconds remaining to be played here in the first quarter. Navy nothing and Stanford nothing. We're coming back. Don't go away.
Sports Ultimate Nightly Highlight Show is here. The FSN final score.
He'll unload. He scores. What a shot.
It's the only national show that gives you nothing but wall-to-wall highlights.
Yeah, baby!
No flop, no filler, just all the action that's lighting up the sports world from coast to coast.
He got it again!
The FSN final score tonight on FSN.
There's a long flag. It's going to be, I believe, the Giants win the pennant. The Giants win the pennant.
The pitch to Willie Mays. He swings and lines it down the right field line.
And Clark hits it up the middle in a center field base hit.
The Giants have won the pennant. The Giants are the champions of the
Each generation has idolized its heroes. Our generation has a chance to create them. Support the Junior Giants.
You know,
know, if you're having a bunch of guys over to watch synchronized swimming, forget it. Just serve them weenies. But if you're watching football, you better be grilling Johnsonville brats. Look at them. They're big, fresh, always juicy, and perfect with that other home team favorite. When you give the fans what they want, well, welcome to football party heaven. Welcome to Johnsonville.
Welcome back. Let's meet the third member of our broadcast team, actually the fourth member of our broadcast team. We go to the field, and Amy Gutierrez. Amy?
Thanks, Barry. Now, I want to give you a little bit of the atmosphere down here. I'm sorry if I'm yelling, but it's so loud, and that's what Stanford promised, was an intimate, loud stadium. I'm going to have my cameraman pan over to the bench. Here's where the players are, and come back over here. Here's where the fans are. We are right here 45 feet away from the gridiron, and to say that the players and fans are excited about this new stadium is an understatement. Of course, they were outside waiting to get in and counted down the last minute, so this is a great venue, and everyone is really excited. Barry, back to you.
All right, so far the football team hasn't cooperated. Navy 4 yards on first down and to give to Ballard. Here's the pitch this time. And that is Campbell, and Campbell's going to get it to midfield for a first down. And it's just that easy. I mean, there's no great secrets about this offense. It just works.
I'll tell you, Barry and Jim, that's beautifully executed football. I mean, every block was precise. The play selection is excellent. They just have mastered this offense. And Stanford's going to have to react better. But more importantly, Stanford's going to have to control the ball.
I understood what you said.
God, I'm sorry. I got so excited I lost my voice.
So first down just across midfield. And Hampton's going to go up, and he's got a man wide open, and Tomlinson makes a diving catch at the 15-yard line.
And as you guys well know, when you run the ball successfully, you got a chance for a big play, but it looks like it's being brought back.
Yeah, I think they're going to say that it hit the ground. Tomlinson's been overthrowing receivers all year long. He's had guys open like this all year long. Tomlinson had it in his hands, but you saw him drop it, and it hit the ground. Here's another look. Watch the drop. Right there.
Yeah, he dropped it.
But as Coach said, perfectly executed play action pass that time. Everybody bit to the line of scrimmage, and the receiver, Tomlinson, was running down the middle of the field, wide open.
We'll see that kind of play again. There's no question about it. They're playing an unbalanced line, and I don't think Stanford's adjusted to it at all.
They're playing even.
There's a keeper this time. Hampton, nothing doing, picked up a yard. And it's going to be 3rd and 9. Chris Horn, who's been very effective so far. First man to him, had help from Udofia. Paul Johnson, he spent some time down at Georgia Southern under one of the great characters who passed away just this week, Irk Russell. Guy that I know you probably spent a little time with.
Right.
Third down now and 9. Straight back Hampton. He'll roll to his left. Now he throws. Got a man wide open. And the catch is made this time by Barnes. And Barnes will get into Stanford territory at the 30-yard line. That was just pitch and catch.
Sure was. Stanford corner I guess he figured there'd be another deep pass.
But if you take a look at it, I think the secondary was entirely confused. Really, they did not do their coverage, I think, as it was shown up in the pregame diagram, because they were nowhere to be found.
So a first down for Navy at the 30-yard line. This time Campbell comes in motion. And again, the option they give to a fullback, and that's Ballard getting about 3. Down to the Stanford 27-yard line. Michael Oakwell makes the stop. His first action this year. He's been injured for the first 2 games. Still playing with a little soft cast on his hand.
Well, that defense is going to be out there a lot of the time unless Stanford can make first downs.
They wear you out, don't they?
Oh, they absolutely do. You're running from sideline to sideline virtually every play.
Here comes Campbell in motion once again. Hampton this time on to give to Ballard once more. And Ballard will pick up about 3 more to about the 23-yard line. This time Acom Udofia makes the tackle.
Well, be ready for an option play here, a pitch outside. They 3rd and 3. critical down.
For both Stanford and Navy.
Yeah,
sure is.
Just hit the 5-minute mark of the first period. 5 minutes remaining. Navy driving the football. They have it third down and 3. It's actually a short 3. At the 23-yard line. Here's Campbell in motion again. Hampton this time on a pitch to Campbell. He has to turn around to get it, and he does, and he's got a first down.
There's the option. Well, that time the Stanford safety just didn't get up when he saw the quarterback coming toward him. So that option man had room.
That was not a pretty looking pitch. Campbell made a nice play. Watch the play that Campbell had to make to catch this.
See, we're not getting any movement from the safety. And he's just getting there too late.
So a first down Navy at the Stanford 18-yard line. And the Middies continue to drive. Hampton give it to Ballard, gets inside the 15 to about the 14-yard line. And again, good first down yardage. Navy gets 4 or 5 yards of first down, and they are low.
Yeah, this is a sort of a repeat of last year's game. And Navy did this to Stanford, but Stanford threw effectively. And thus far, Stanford hasn't thrown effectively, so Navy has the total edge in this game.
Second down and 6. And again, this time it's the fullback. Ballard busts into the open. He's going to be close to another Navy first down. This will all just depend on the spot. Sanchez ran him out. Ballard's a load at 6'1", 223. Out of Louisville, Texas.
And all he does is run that inside play. Look, our safeties aren't getting there. When I say our, I mean Stanford.
Third down and short.
Well, Stanford needs to come up with a big play.
Once more, it's Ballard, the fullback. And this time Hampton on the keeper, and he's going to have the first down to the 11-yard line of the Cardinal. The Cardinal just simply has not been able to defend the triple option so far.
Well, Navy has just a methodical way of attacking it. And they have a repertoire of about 6 or 8 plays. But they just use them just at the right time, close to a face mask, but not quite.
And they've got just enough wrinkles that they can throw in at critical times, which they do. First down at the 6-yard line. They're going to throw for it. And
boy.
For Campbell.
Receiver just didn't look quickly enough. It was wide open.
In this Navy team, they throw for less than 14 yards a game in these first 2 games, and you figure they're not going to do it. But here they fake the rush right down the middle.
They're right there. You've got an open man, and he wasn't looking.
And down there, you got to look quick because the goal line's right in front of you. There's no deep route you have to worry about.
So it'll be second down. A little more than 6 yards to go for the touchdown. Long count this time by Hampton. And now we're going to get a flag. Too much time. Too long a count.
Navy was in an unbalanced line. They're running an unbalanced line about every 3rd or 4th play. And Stanford has not moved their defense to adjust to it.
So now that'll move the ball back to the 11-yard line. It'll still be second down, but a little bit of a different animal now for the Naval Academy.
And Coach Johnson, very demonstrative there on the sideline talking to his quarterback. He's a no-nonsense kind of guy.
He is, absolutely. This time straight ahead to Ballard inside the 10. Might have gotten to the 7, maybe to the 8-yard line. That's about it. So now it's going to be third down and goal from the 8-yard line. Akon Mudofiev. First Cardinal to him. Akon, the younger of the Udofiev brothers. He is a sophomore. The unbalanced Navy formation that Bill Walsh was talking about. Now third down at the 8-yard line. Hampton straight back.
Quarterback draw.
To go, gonna run it, and cannot escape the last man, and he gets it down to the 3-yard line. So now Navy will likely go for the 3 here, and they will.
That was a designed quarterback run.
Andrew.
Actually, I wasn't so sure it was that time, but maybe you're right. Yeah, there comes the guard off there to pick up the backer. But, you know, they're probably not going to throw it down there even when they have 3rd and long to go around the goal line.
Joey Bullen will try a 21-yard field goal for the Naval Academy to get on board first. And it is on its way, and it is true. And the midshipmen of Navy have scored first. They lead the Stanford Cardinal 3-0. 2 minutes remaining to be played here in the first period, and Navy has controlled the tempo of this football game thus far. We're coming back.
Cheeseburgers for $1 each, I can keep the party jumping. McDonald's dollar menu, a whole lot of what I love for a little bit of change.
The sleek styling of the all-new Camry will improve your image.
I'm just a love machine.
The voice-activated navigation system will improve your sense of direction. The climate control with plasma cluster ionizer will improve the air you breathe.
All I need is the air that I breathe.
And the MP3 digital audio system may even improve your singing.
And I won't work for nobody but you.
Or not.
Yeah, baby.
Well, let's take a moment to check our NCAA rankings for Stanford and Navy, brought to you by esurance.com, instant online car insurance. And you can see the story of this game. Navy, 4th in the country in rushing at 335 yards a game, and Stanford's rush defense, 119th, one of the worst in the country. Now, Stanford, conversely, passing the football, 49th at 229. Navy's pass defense not all that bad at 235. Stanford outsizes Navy on the outside by a big margin. They have not thrown the ball to Moore yet. Moore has at least 7 inches on every Navy defensive back. There's an interesting number. Paul Johnson's team have won 12 in a row when they score first. Harmon will kick this one away for Navy. Evans and Kimball, the deep men for Stanford. And this is going to be Evans at the 3-yard line. Evans, the 15 to 20, gets a little gap and is run down from behind. Fumble the football, and let's see who got it. And I think it was a fumble. Navy's saying we have it. Let's see. Byron McCoy might have been on that one for the Naval Academy. And I think this is going to be Navy ball. As they unpile, Navy still saying they have it. And they have it. And I think clearly that was a fumble. Well, that could be a big momentum turner.
Get a look at it right here. The ball came out.
Yep, somebody got a hat on it, looked like.
It certainly was clearly a fumble. And the first kickoff, nobody caught the ball. They let it bounce, hit the ground, and wound up on the 15-yard line, and now a turnover on the second kickoff by Navy.
It's that unbalanced line again.
Hampton this time on the pitch to Campbell. Campbell has to wait for it, tries to get around Oakville and can't do it. Well defended that time.
Great job.
Tell you what, Hampton has thrown a couple of errant pitches where Campbell has had to turn around to get them.
Here's the unbalanced line. You can see 2 men to the right of the center, and then the unbalanced to the left, and that Navy overloads that side and tries to run them.
But look at the pitch. It's behind him, so he has to basically stop. And Oakville right there to make the play defensive.
That was a big play.
Loss of 2. 2nd and 12. Hampton going to go up again. Rolls right this time. Now he throws wide open on the sideline. Tomlinson makes a catch, steps out of bounds to the 20-yard line. Pickup of 8. Nick Sanchez runs him out. Now that was a good ball thrown by Hampton.
It was. He's thrown 2 outs, and both of them were right on the money. Every other pass, that long pass was pretty good to Tomlinson, but every other pass was fairly offline and off target.
So now it'll be 3rd down and 5.
Well, here we go again. Another big play.
Ballard the fullback, Hampton all the way at quarterback. There's Hampton this time on the keeper. He's got the 1st down and more inside the 10 to the 8-yard line. Clint Snyder with what might have been a saving tackle.
Navy is splitting their offensive line out at least a yard between each man. Take a look at that offensive line. They're spreading the Stanford defense out. And it allows the fullback to run, and now the quarterback keeps it because Stanford is jumping in there on the fullback.
A gain of 12, 1st down and goal for the Naval Academy at the 8-yard line of the Cardinal. They spread the field out once again. Hampton give it to Ballard. Ballard down to the 5-yard line. Okoro, I think, got a hand on him.
Yeah, it looked like number 91, Egbo. Good penetration.
I think that Egbo's adjusted some. Early on, he was just jumping in on the fullback. And I think he's figuring it out. Might be a little late, but he's figuring it out.
2nd down and goal at the 5-yard line now. There's a pitch this time to Campbell. Campbell is close, and did he get in? Well, the officials are saying no, that was awfully close. They didn't give him a very generous spot there, I must say.
That's about as close as they can get. Well blocked all the way. You can see people blocking. There were missing tackles. His knee was down.
Yes, it was. Good call. And that'll be the last play of the 1st quarter. Here it is again. You can see, as Bill Walsh mentioned, knee is down.
His knee down there. Whew, I guess.
Yeah, I'm not so
I don't
sure
know.
of that. Remember, they do review every play, so it's possible they may take a look at this. I don't know. Meantime, they're going to run just about 100 yards the other way. Here was the ceremonial ribbon cutting of this new Stanford Stadium. 50,000 strong, and the home team unable to do any business so far. Navy leads it 3-0. We'll be back.
Introducing the most powerful BMW 3 Series coupe ever, with 300 horsepower and twin-turbo technology. To some, it's remarkable. To us, it's business as usual. BMW, the ultimate driving machine.
The team congratulates Barry Bonds on the 3-run bomb. You gotta love the spirit of this team.
The weekly preview show that can't be missed is back. Join Jay Glazer, Tim Brown, Jason Sehorn, and Eddie George as our insiders break the biggest stories.
Last week, we're the first to report
with in-depth interviews.
His upside is tremendous, so you got to go with the young guy.
And up-to-the-minute breaking news.
I guarantee that I will not be stopped Sunday.
FSN Pro Football Preview, tonight on FSN.
3-0 Navy as we start the 2nd quarter. Let's go to the field. Amy Gutierrez with a quick report. Amy?
Barry, we don't have a lot of information at this point, but Evan Moore has left the game. I saw him on the sideline with the training staff having his big toe wrapped. He got up, put his shoe back on, tried to jog, shook his head no, and was taken off the field. Barry, back to you.
All right, thanks, Amy. And taking it in for what looked to be a touchdown, but there is still no call, was Hampton. Touchdown. And And Navy has taken a 9-point lead on the Stanford Cardinal, and with Moore out, Bradford is already out for the year. The fullback Frank is out. Things not looking real rosy right now for the Stanford Cardinal.
Certainly not. They're 2 starting receivers. They're 2 top receivers, both sidelined.
So Bullen to try the extra point, making a 10-0 ball game. He drives it through, and the Middies have taken a 10-0 lead, just 10 seconds into the second quarter. A flag is down.
Now we had an offsides. Well, that's an excellent job by Navy. Quarterback just went up over the top, and the offensive line would just cut down the Stanford defenders.
Well, Navy just beating up on Stanford right now. Just simply said, they're just playing better.
Yeah, and it's hard to go out there and play without your 2 starting receivers, but as coach will tell you, somebody's got to step up and fill those slots and make plays for Stanford in order for them to get back in the ballgame.
Well, Moore was in there for all of the first quarter. He was in there in the last series too, and Stanford had 28 yards of offense.
Yeah, a couple of drop passes, maybe 3. He could have made a big difference in this ballgame, but unfortunately they were dropped. They passed for 0 yards in the first quarter, and obviously they need to do a much better job. Bill, has the lighting changed? Is the lighting, you think, a factor, getting used to it down here?
I don't know, but they sure just totally missed catching those passes. I mean, they didn't even come close to catching them.
They did practice in this stadium, but whether they practiced under the lights, that I don't know. Here's the kick, and this is going to be Evans again. Right at about the 2-yard line, and I think a blade of grass jumped up and got him.
You know, that was going to be a decent return, but he couldn't keep his feet for some reason.
Well, take a look at some of the problems, and you guys talked about them a little bit for Stanford in the first quarter.
Plenty of time. That ball should have been caught.
Yeah, Dre should have had it. Here's one to Gerhardt right over the middle, and he's only 10 yards away from the quarterback, and here's one right down the middle.
Beautiful
Which would have been a big
throw
play.
right through the hands.
But
well, you can't play major college football and do that.
And you're looking up at the Naval Academy from 10 points down. So the Cardinal will start again. Austin Yancey, a freshman in the game. Play fake. Edwards to throw. This time a little pressure, and he one-hops it. David Mahoney was coming off the edge.
At that time, I think, he panicked a little bit, and the receiver underneath was open, but he just hurried it a little too much under a little bit of pressure by Navy. But he's got to complete those. That's not a very long pass.
So it'll be 2nd down and 10.
They just have to keep going after Navy to have any chance in this game.
Yeah, they got to put pressure on him and keep coming after him. You're right, Coach.
3 wideouts for the Cardinal now. Straight back again. Here's a little swing out of the backfield. Kimball with room to the 20-yard line. Got to about the 22. Going to be about 4 yards short of the first down. David Mahoney again makes the stop for the Naval Academy.
And that was kind of a screen with the wide receivers blocking out there, and just a swing pass to Kimball on the outside with the receivers blocking downfield. Kind of a quick screen type
There's
of
the block.
There's a
play.
hold also.
Get off the screen quick.
So now it's 3rd down and about 4. Big play here for Stanford. Here comes the blitz. Picked up nicely, and this time a catch made by Dre over the middle for Stanford. First down at the 30-yard line.
And now they're starting to catch the ball. They're starting to move the chains, getting first downs, keeping their defense off the field.
Pickup of 8 on that play. Another look.
And here's Dre right there. Just a little hook route. A very simple pass to complete. Enough for the first down. That's all you needed.
So first down for Stanford at the 30-yard line. Straight back again goes Edwards. Edwards looks downfield, got a man. Catch is made this time by Lynn. And Lynn is out of bounds with another Stanford first down at the 46-yard line. So now the Cardinals starting to roll a little bit. Gain of 16 on that play.
And that time only a 3-man rush by Navy gave Trent Edwards plenty of time to find a receiver downfield. Actually a 4-man rush, but still good protection.
Look at that. Yeah, beautiful. And the ball was thrown well and caught well. So maybe Stanford can make it competitive here.
And none of this is on Edwards. I mean, he's throwing the ball perfectly all night long. First down at the 46 is where they mark it. There's a little hitch this time for Lynn again. And Lynn will get it down to about the 46-yard line of Navy. David Mahoney makes the stop and a pickup of 8, and it'll be 2nd and 2.
You know, now they're doing things a lot like Navy is, getting quick 5-6 yard plays. They're like running plays because they're quick passes to the outside, gives the receiver an opportunity to pick up yards out in space out there.
Kelton Lynn, who came to Stanford as a walk-on.
Well, Stanford's fortunate to have his services right now, I'll tell you.
2nd down short now for the Cardinals, so kind of a freebie here for Edwards, and they give us to Gerhardt. Gerhardt busted to the 40, taking people with him to the 35. Keenan Little rode the back of the freshman Toby Gerhardt.
Yeah, he's only a freshman, so you can. I think he'll have a really great career here, and he has a good feel for it. He's not going to outrun many people, but he's strong and he always goes forward when he's hit, so he gets an extra 2 or 3 yards.
Gain of 12, and this game now really starting to look very much like the one last year, won by Stanford in shootout. Slam Lynn in the slot for the left side. 6-man rush, and they give it to Gerhardt. Perfect call to the 25 of the 20 down to the 18-yard line. Caught Navy in a blitz.
And that was just a draw play, perfectly timed. When the blitz came, he was able to run right by him.
Noli and
good
Cochran.
blocks.
Very well executed.
First down Cardinal at the 18-yard line. Gerhardt still the tailback in the I formation. Lynn in the slot to the left side. And the give is to Gerhardt. This time he stopped immediately by Ty Adams.
You know, sometimes you go to the well too often. Another draw play for Gerhardt, but they read it a little bit better this time. They were able to stop him for no gain.
Kimball back in the ball game at tailback now for the Cardinals. 2nd down and 10. Ball at the 18-yard line of the Naval Academy. Now Navy showing blitz. And they back out of the blitz. And Edwards rolling to his left. Throws. Intercepted. Picked off at the 10-yard line that time by Jeremy McGowan. And there's a ball Edwards would love to have back.
You know, it's a little difficult for a quarterback running to his left and throwing the football down the field. You got to get your hips turned around so you can have a more accurate throw. And there, the bootleg to his left, and he's out there outside, right, just badly thrown by Trent that time.
Second turnover.
Just behind him and high, and it unfortunately falls right into the defender's hands. Had a good drive going, it stalls.
There are backs that could catch that ball. I mean, there are people that would catch it, but not in this case.
So now Navy getting it back. They got a long way to go, but if they could capitalize on this, it would really be a dagger to the Cardinal. Here's Ballard straight ahead, and he picks up about 6. And again, if you give Navy 6 or 7 yards on first down, you got a problem.
Yeah, they have so many choices.
If you give anybody 6 or 7 yards on first down,
I'll give you that.
Defensively, you have a lot of problems.
Yeah, I'll give you that.
The late count on it. And, so it does demonstrate Stanford can move the ball. Now, it may or may not be too late for them to be competitive.
2nd down and 3 now for the Naval Academy. Here's the give this time to the fullback once more. And this time Ballard was stopped. He might have gotten a yard. Udofia, that is Udema Udofia on the stop for the Cardinal.
Yeah, they have much better luck stopping the running plays when they go up the middle than they do when they get the outside, because Stanford just doesn't have quite the speed to keep up with them.
Yeah, so true. And expect the pitch out or the option.
And Navy's going to call a timeout here. A little bit of confusion. Paul Johnson had sent a play in with Trey Hines, but some misunderstanding. So coach calls a timeout. We'll take one as well. 9 minutes, 31 seconds remaining to be played here in the first half of the Naval Academy, really getting it done against the Stanford Cardinal. They lead it 10-0.
This town is not big enough for the two of us.
Hold on there, cowboy.
I show comparison rates from other insurance companies and...
That's great. Esurance has them too. Can you also buy the policy?
Does not compute.
At Esurance, if we can't give you the best deal, we'll show you where you can and help you buy the policy right away.
Looks like the competition couldn't handle Esurance. Need a ride?
Sure.
Quote and compare. Save on auto insurance at esurance.com today.
On December 17th, Range Rover Sport experienced rush hour 200 feet beneath Tokyo. See how at LandRoverUSA.com. Designed for the extraordinary. The Range Rover Sport by Land Rover.
Only one real estate company can sell your home with over 600 agents, a magazine in over 300,000 homes, and on television. Century 21 Sukasa. Click on c21sukasa.com and put the power of Sukasa to work for you immediately. They handle it all, from finding to funding. Sukasa sells an average of 10 homes a day, every day. Put the power of Sukasa to work for you, too. Century 21 Sukasa, because it's not about us. It's all about you.
Welcome back to the Stanford-Navy game. Joining me now is Nick Frank, of course, the senior starting fullback for Stanford. But you found out some bad news this week. Tell us what you heard.
The doctors saw from an imaging scan we did that I had a congenital cervical condition. Basically, just in the top of my neck, there's a narrowing of my spine that leaves my spinal cord prone to injury. And they felt that it was a little too dangerous for me to keep playing.
Well, I'm sure you've enjoyed your time here at Stanford and playing football, and it won't be too bad having Stanford education out there, huh?
No, it's a pretty good degree to fall back on. You know, I had some great times, great memories here, made some great friends, so I'm very glad to be able to leave here.
Thanks for your time, Nick. Barry, back to you.
All right, thanks, Amy. And Stanford making the big defensive play to stop the Naval Academy. They punt. It's almost blocked. And maybe even got a piece of it. A flag is down back at the 9-yard line, though, so let's see about this. Now, I don't know if he got a piece of the ball. Remember, it's not going to be roughing the kicker, but I think it's going to be roughing the kicker.
Oh, boy.
You know, but if you ask me, you know, the kicker didn't even fall down. I mean, it was not much of a touch.
It really was questionable. That's really questionable.
Running into the kicker on the defense. 5-yard penalty. Yardage will result in a first down.
Well, a freebie for the Naval Academy here.
Take a look here, guys.
More importantly, I think he got a piece of the ball.
They could have gotten a piece of the ball.
But I think they would have been arguing that point. But that was Michael Miller coming in on the punt. But I think he would have been arguing that point a little bit stronger if he had touched that ball.
Yeah, maybe so.
But so far tonight, you know, things have not been going Stanford's way. A fumble on the kickoff, a kickoff that wasn't touched, interception when they're about to go in to score. You know, they've got to make things go right for them, and soon.
Meantime, Navy still has the ball. Hampton going to throw. Throws, got a man, and making the catch was Singleton. Might not have been a thing of beauty, but they'll take it.
You know, that's another thing. You know, a quarterback, you know, when a receiver's running that out route, you know, you want to hit him straight. You want to be able to hit him so you can catch the ball and turn it upfield, but yet they've got to dive almost 90% of the time for one of his passes. But in that case, it worked. They picked up 6 yards.
Yeah, they did, and that gives them a 2nd and 4. We talked about first down yardage and how important it is to Navy. They get 6. Hampton this time on the keeper, slips a tackle, gets to 35. It'll be another Navy first down. Hooper makes the stop, but as you were talking earlier, when the secondary is making all the tackles,
you're in deep trouble.
6 more yards for Hampton on the keeper. Navy's throwing the ball just enough to keep the Stanford Cardinal honest. And they have completed a couple of them. Give the fullback this time. Ballard, nothing doing. Picked up a yard. Levert Griffin, freshman, playing for Stanford. Stanford's playing a lot of young people.
They are. They've got about 6 freshmen. We see some playing time, some of them even starting.
So they're a young team. And there's hope from that standpoint, no question.
Going to be 2nd down and 9 now for the Middies. And this time the pitch to Campbell. Campbell gets a block, gets the 40, caught from behind. Good tackle that time by Clinton Snyder, but pickup of about 6 more, and it's going to be 3rd down and 2.
Snyder saved the day there.
Yeah,
because both of the outside guys, the safety and the corner, were effectively blocked. He was on his way.
Yeah, they were outnumbered. They did a real kind of reverse option, faking to the right and then coming back around the left, and they were outnumbered. Stanford was on that left side. And you're right, Snyder just made a tremendous play coming all the way from behind and catching it from the backside.
So 3rd down and a long 2. And a give is to Ballard, and he's going to have the 1st down, I believe. Yep, they'll mark it at about the 47-yard line. So Navy continuing to march here. You should pardon the military expression.
Well, you see those cut blocks all over the field, down the field, and I'll point one out the next time it's very obvious. And they are effective.
1st down at the 47-yard line. Hampton under center again, going to go up on 1st down. Rolls to his right, looks, has a man. It is complete once again.
As Jim says, they're catching it on their knees, but they're catching it right.
Yeah, that's right. Gain of 8. I mean, I think it's just enough. I mean, they're showing Stanford a passing attack, and Stanford's got to adjust.
Yeah, and Stanford's so far off the receivers, you know, because of the running game, you'd think they'd be a little bit tighter up there, but I think they're afraid to get beat because Tomlinson beat them down the middle. They're a little concerned about that.
2nd down and 2. Fullback Ballard once more. I think that's another Navy 1st down at the 41-yard line, and they are moving the chains. And they're wearing out Stanford's defense.
Yeah, there's no question about that.
You know, in the 1st quarter, they ran 24 plays to Stanford's 10. You know, that defense has been out there a long time.
And it's repeating itself in this quarter.
Navy with 10 1st downs in the ball game so far. They lead it 10-0 and driving again. Be huge for the Middies to capitalize on that turnover deep in their own territory. This time Hampton rolls to his right. Now he throws, got a man. It's White, 1st down Navy, maybe a yard short.
Well, you can tell Navy's practiced every one of these kind of plays, every one of these situations. Because he waits, and then watch, the receiver knows just what to do. He waits and he just dumps the ball to him. Very well done.
Yeah, it was. And that was pretty well thrown pass that time by Hampton. Nice little touch pass.
And a little dump off. Oakland was pressuring him, but he was able to give himself more time by getting outside and completing the pass.
2nd down, a long yard for the Middies. Give it to Ballard again. He bounces off one tackle and gets himself down inside the 25-yard line. Is this redundant? 1st down Navy.
Well, now it's starting to show the, I don't want to be that critical of Stanford's chances, but now the fatigue setting in because 3 guys had a shot to tackle him there and couldn't quite do it. And this is only the 1st half.
So it'll be a 1st down at the 24-yard line of the Cardinal. Once again, Hampton. This time with the pitch to Campbell. Campbell's got a gap. He's at the 10. He's at the 5. Out of bounds, the 3-yard line.
Beautiful blocking downfield. The wide receiver did a terrific job on the cornerback, and they were able to lead it. You can see the blocking right here by the wide receiver. He sets him up. Bang, there's the other receiver. Bang, cutting him down. And those are just beautifully done. And the Stanford guys aren't reacting. They're not beating the blockers to the point of attack. So they're sitting there waiting and just getting blocked. No question.
1st down and goal at the 3-yard line. This drive has been a thing of beauty. Hampton again with a bad pitch this time. Ball still loose. It's a live ball. And I think the Cardinal may have it. That's the 3rd bad pitch that Hampton has thrown. There's still a scramble. And they will get bodies out of there. Cardinals saying they have it. They do.
Oh, boy. Well, They got a reprieve on this one.
Look at this pitch. I mean, it's not near anyone.
Terrible pitch. Gosh.
You know, last week, Bill, they fumbled the ball 7 times against Massachusetts. You know, lost 3 of them, and you know, that's one of the risks also from running this kind of option and pitch out type of offense. You know, they're going to have turnovers.
Yeah, no question about it. That was so poorly done, and that cost him.
Brandon Harrison on the recovery for the Cardinal. So there's one the middies may remember. At the 10-yard line, now Stanford takes over. This is Kimball. And Kimball will get about 3. David Mahoney on the stop. Mahoney's been all over the field. Last week, you just talked about this. Put it on the carpet 7 times.
Whoop. Yeah. Well.
And still won the game.
Yeah, that's last week's game, unfortunately, for Stanford.
And now we get whistles, and somebody might have moved prematurely.
Dead ball, false start, 83 offense, 5-yard penalty, remains second down.
And here's where you have to hold your poise and your composure. And here you go, left tackle. Oh, Dre, the tight end, actually, moves. But here you got to be poised and put a drive together. Get out of this hole you're in.
Now here's an empty backfield for Edwards. So they spread it out. Nobody in the backfield. Edwards, 3-step drop, throws, threw it behind the intended receiver, Austin Yancey. And there were plenty of middies all around it.
That could have been picked off.
Mahoney might have gotten a hand on that ball. Mahoney has just been a terror defensively.
Well, Edwards is looking to his right too soon. See him looking to his right, and he telegraphs the throw.
Yeah, it is tipped.
Yep, Mahoney with a hand on that ball. Edwards is 4 of 11 for 38 yards. He's been victimized on a lot of occasions, though. Now 3rd down 11 for the Cardinal. Big play here. Straight back Edwards. Blitz comes. He steps up. He throws. Got a man. It's caught this time by Lynn for a 1st down.
Well, when Edwards gets time, Jim, he can get the ball there, can he?
Exactly what I was going to say. When you give a quarterback as Edwards, like Edwards, that kind of time, with his ability, he's going to find somebody open and get it there in a hurry.
And 14, had a couple of middies at his ankles, but he just stepped up. Edwards a big guy, 6'4", 220, prototype size. And a 1st down for Stanford short of the 24-yard line. Play fake, Edwards going to throw in trouble. Down he goes all the way back at the 13-yard line.
Well, they're looking for a 2-deep defense, and they didn't get it. And the release man that releases inside, he wanted to throw him the ball, it was too late.
John Chan, the guy on the sack from Pleasant Hill, just across the bay, went to De La Salle High School.
And John Chan's their best defensive player and pass rusher.
There's a look at John. A couple of guys on this Navy team from
Pleasant Hill,
De La Salle.
De La Salle, yeah.
2nd down, a whole bunch. Straight back, Edwards again. Edwards looking for the screen, and Navy sensed that. Now he throws. Gerhard makes a catch. 20, 25, 30, and out of bounds.
There should be a flag on this. We had linemen downfield, and the back caught the ball down across the line of scrimmage, but they didn't catch it. So, uh-oh. No, they didn't catch it.
And I like Gerhard. Instead of going out of bounds and you know, stopping the clock, he just, here he is, screen, they read it well. See, Trent gets out of trouble.
He's across the line of scrimmage, but so be it.
Yeah. I like Gerhard. He just puts his head down and bangs into the defender.
Again, Stanford going with an empty backfield. Gerhard splits to the far side. Yancey to the near side. Short drop again. Edwards hit as he throws, but coming down with it nicely that time was Miller. Be a little short of the 1st down.
Oh, I think he has it.
Oh, he does. You're right. At the 35. You're right.
He barely got that off. He threw it high once again. You got to be careful about throwing the ball high over the middle because it goes off tip fingers into defenders' hands.
Yeah, that's a very, very vulnerable area.
Here's the pressure by number 64 at 45, I believe.
That was Tidwell. At the 35-yard line, give to Kimball. Reverse this time, ball's loose. Sherman picks it up, still has time to try to get Gittin, but can't, and is cracked back at the 20-yard line. Well, there's another botched play, and we've seen a few of them on both sides.
And that was in trouble from the get-go on the first handoff. Penetration by Navy.
See, there's problems right there. Yeah. Now the handoff isn't good, and oh gosh,
that was just ugly. Just ugly in every aspect. Ty Adams makes the stop for Navy, and now Stanford looking at second down and 25.
You know, I like reverses on occasion, but I don't like deep reverses that far back in the backfield.
Oh yeah, and Sherman took his eye off the ball when he saw that guy right in his way.
They go out of the gun this time. Edwards, straight back's got all day to throw. Got Yancey, the freshman, and Yancey's going to take it close to a first down at the 45-yard line.
Well, that's a nice throw.
Yeah,
beautiful.
Gain of 25, and it's right at the first down marker.
This is, the protection's there. When he gets protection, he can throw a football.
Yeah, you're right.
And Barry, as I mentioned, you notice the difference between that throw and Hampton's throw on the other side. You know, you catch it on the run, you're able to turn it upfield, and in this case, it was third and very, very long, or second and very, very long, and you know, it enabled him to either pick up the first down or come very close because he can catch it on the run.
Now, Stanford's got to be aware of the clock. 1:18 remaining here in the first half. Remember, with the new rules, you got to be ready to go. They will measure this. Stanford would be wise, I think, to get right up over the ball here. And it is a first down.
Get up, get up there if you're going to run a play.
Because now they don't wait for the snap of the ball. They wait for the change to be set again.
It's a rule that no coach likes, but you got to deal with it, at least for this year. Shorten the game by 14 or 15 plays. Stanford still with its 3 timeouts remaining. Meantime, 1:15, 1:14.
Still plenty of time now to get a score.
Out of the gun again.
Oh, boy. Somebody moved. We're all very anxious.
So Stanford going to go back.
Dead ball, snap infraction. 5-yard penalty, still first down.
But this offensive line is a relatively experienced line. You know, they should hold their water a little bit better.
Most of these guys have started since their first year. So you'd like to think they have the poise and presence to be able to function.
So again, first down, 15. Edwards with all day. Comes back to Miller. Miller at midfield, knocked out of bounds at the 45-yard line, close to another first down. I think he's going to be a little short. 56 seconds remaining in the half. And you guys have talked about it. I mean, you give Edwards that much time. And that was what, at least his second receiver, if not his third.
At least, I think it was his third receiver. Plus, it was a long throw to Miller on the sidelines. He's holding the ball, then sees Miller all by himself on the sidelines. And even though it's like a 5-yard out, it's from across the field. That was a good throw with a lot of heat on it.
And it is a first down at the 45-yard line. 56 seconds remaining in the first half. 10-0 Navy. Now they got a little push on Edwards. They flush it. He's going to run. He's got room to the 45, to the 40, and out of bounds.
Edwards can really cover ground when he wants to run.
He can. And I said at the open, you know, I think he helps himself. He's helping himself a lot more this year than he has in the past by taking off and picking up valuable yardage for first downs and moving the chains. It's only a 5-yard gain, but it beats a sack and being in a long yardage situation.
Yeah, very well done.
So second down and 5. With 48 seconds remaining, the ball at the 40-yard line.
And they have 3 timeouts. They should be ready to take one of them.
Edwards again out of the gun, starts Miller in motion. Now he comes back the other way. Edwards straight back again. He's got time. Clear out this time from Miller. Miller gets it down about the 27-yard line.
Timeout.
Stanford.
Call timeout.
I would expect they will here. They have not done it yet, however.
Well, they still have time to call a play from the line of scrimmage.
Well, they got right up to the line of scrimmage. That play only took 7 seconds. They still have all their timeouts remaining. And it looked like somebody moved to me, but no flag. Edwards throws to the sideline, and fortunately he's got a gun, because if he didn't get that out there in a hurry, that was a touchdown.
That was trouble.
Keenan Little really breaking on the ball.
Almost stepped in front of Dre, the tight end.
He's got time. You see, he's looking down the field, and finally he comes out, and it sort of telegraphs that throw.
Right, I agree.
Now 33 seconds. Stanford still with its 3 timeouts left. The ball at the 27-yard line.
You know, hopefully they can throw the ball down the field, find a seam in that defense. They're playing zone.
And now Edwards still directing traffic. 3 seconds, 2 seconds, and they get the play off. Straight back Edwards again. Again, he's got all day. Throws behind Gerhardt and makes the catch, and he's knocked out of bounds at the 28-yard line. Now 26 seconds remaining. No gain on that.
You know, if they don't get a first down here, they got to get at least a little bit closer to make it a little bit easier field goal.
Yeah, no question about that. He has to be willing to put it down the field.
Right. I agree.
Remember, Bradford out for the year. Moore has not played this quarter. He's got a toe injury. Yancey, the freshman, to the near side, and Lynn slotted inside of him. And now Edwards has to get out of there again. A flag is down. That may be a hold. Edwards throws wide open. Miller makes the catch to 15. But let's see about the flag.
I think the referee threw the flag, didn't he?
Yes, that's usually holding.
Yeah.
Yep. Maybe not.
Officials huddling, as they are wont to do. Holding is the call. Now that's a big penalty.
Well, the Navy gets in a real soft zone, and if Edwards comes outside with the ball, that zone really gets distorted.
There are 3 fouls on the play. Ineligible receiver downfield on the offense. Holding on the offense. Roughing the passer on the defense. The penalty's offset. Replay the down.
That's a big break for Stanford.
Certainly is.
3 flags.
There's the hold right there.
There's roughing the passer.
And good reception.
And there's a man downfield somewhere.
Yeah,
we'll have to find that. I don't see that one at all.
Maybe that's the one from before, Bill.
Yeah, it must be.
Meantime, we'll do it all over again. 3rd down and 10. Out of the gun again. Edwards this time has time. Throws. Ball is caught this time by Lynn inside the 7-yard line.
Time out. Come on.
Call it. And they do get a timeout call at 9 seconds. Well, I don't think they've called it yet. Now they do.
I mean, I'm sorry for sounding as though
we're down there trying to do it.
Just being
you're being a coach.
Just being a coach, I could see it.
All right, we're going to jump away. 9 ticks remaining to be played here. 10-0 Navy. Stanford driving. They got 9 seconds to do a little business.
I'm Wally Dixon. They call me Main Event, and you're watching Sports School.
Ball like Wally Dixon, a.k.a. Main Event. Get his game. Learn his moves. Only on Sports School on demand. It's free. 24/7. Watch Street Ball with Main Event. On Comcast. Tune into Channel 1 to get on demand. Select sports and fitness, then Sports School.
And everyone has big congrats for Eric Chavez on the 2-run jack. Boy, you gotta love the camaraderie on this team.
Every one of your senses has been made a priority. The 2006 306 horsepower IS350 from Lexus at your Lexus dealer.
College football on FSN Bay Area is brought to you by Liberty Mutual. Responsibility. What's your policy? Stanford now with 9 seconds has it first and goal at the 9-yard line of the meetings. Cardinals still with 2 timeouts remaining. Gerhardt the lone setback. Navy shows blitz. They come with a blitz and should be a hold. And it is.
There it is.
It was Caldwell who literally tackled Dre. I think it may be a hold instead of interference because I don't know if the ball was in the air yet. We'll see. It's not going to matter.
I think it was a hold while he was, before and after the ball was in the air.
Yeah, you're right.
Well, they can have 2 plays, Jim. They can certainly play fake and come out of there with a quarterback run or pass. I would think that's what they do.
Yeah, but if they do that, they probably only have 1 play there.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
So I just spread them out.
Try a quick one and then try a fade. And,
I think they're going to kick it right here with 6 seconds remaining. And the crowd here at Stanford Stadium not quite agreeing with Walt Harris. They're going to call another timeout. And we'll take one as well with 6 ticks left. Navy leads at 10-0, and Stanford trying to decide whether to run one more play or just go ahead and kick the field goal from here. We'll find out when we come back.
Let's grab some McDonald's.
You buying?
Why do I always have to buy?
'Cause you're the one with the fancy job.
And the fancy tie. You know what? There. Now you're the one who's buying.
The tie did touch you last.
Money's tight these days. Good thing there's McDonald's Dollar Menu. Get a juicy double cheeseburger or other favorites for only $1.
This month, your Toyota dealer wants you to get behind the wheel of a tough truck by offering deals tough to beat, like 0% APR financing for 60 months or $2,000 cash back on all Tundras. Or lease a fuel-friendly Tacoma, just $209 a month plus tax for 48 months with $29.99 due at signing. Because when the going gets tough, the tough get Toyota trucks. See your Toyota dealer today. Toyota trucks, moving forward.
Here we go. One more push, and I think there it is. Look at that. Number 2 coming. That's it. Push. Push. There you go.
Here you are, Daddy.
Congratulations. Okay. Hang on.
So then it hit me. Life's expensive. Why not help families save money by keeping their premiums really low?
I love it.
7 out of 10 drivers save with 21st. 21st Auto Insurance. Drivers just like you.
Well, there's look at Evan Moore. He is back out on the field. Stanford apparently has changed his mind and will now run a play with 6 seconds remaining. A lot of indecision on the Stanford sideline here, and now they've apparently decided they're going to run one more play.
And this really hurts because they don't have Evan Moore, who's a 6'7" guy who they like to use in these situations because he can outlead the defender.
Now Navy calls a timeout.
Well, I'm not excited about the formation Stanford was just getting. They had 1 wide receiver and a wing back. Unless the quarterback's going to keep the ball, maybe there's a play fake and he keeps it and runs with it. But
you better score. That's all I got to say.
There's 6 ticks left. That's right. Well, they were going to run a play. Then they were going to kick it. Then they called another timeout. Now they decided they're going to run a play again. Coach didn't particularly like the set they came in. Navy calls a timeout. Maybe the longest 6 seconds in history. I don't know.
Now there's always basketball.
Well, we can really second guess. You know, this is so much fun to second guess everybody here.
I know.
It's easy up here.
Yeah, we're way up here. Now I know why I never wanted to coach it.
And you can see some of the middies making the journey out here. They travel well, the Naval Academy. Here are the numbers, 187 to 185.
That's amazing after the start Stanford got off to.
So here we go. 6 seconds left. They'll run one more play. One wide out. That's Lynn. And now they get a timeout call.
They put it in the middle of the field.
That's what they were trying to do.
Still, I would have gone for a score.
Yeah, I would too, Jim.
So they do get it called. I don't know, but that is exactly what they were doing, to center the ball.
You know, for me as a quarterback, I'm used to being aggressive, going after the other team, you know, putting pressure on them, making their lives uncomfortable.
Yeah. There had to be a play that they could run and get the ball off.
Well, Plunk,
what a young man. Gee whiz.
Good looking guy.
Look at how quick, too. Well, that's the film speed.
I remember when you could run, Plunk.
That's
I remember
the film
that guy
speed,
too.
Jim.
Yeah, probably is, you know. At least it's not in black and white, Bill.
At least they have face masks.
There's Randy Vataha.
Yeah.
Great little receiver.
Yeah, long-time pal of yours, right? Still
is.
Yeah. Went on to a very successful career, both as a football player and after.
Yes.
It's going to be Zachary who is going to try this field goal. It'll be a 21-yarder. Now, kicking has been something of an adventure for the Stanford Cardinals. Straight away, 21 yards. Navy's going to try to freeze him a little bit more here.
See, well, in that first game, he got one blocked, I believe, against Oregon, then got one blocked and run back for a touchdown.
Missed an extra point against San Jose State.
San Jose, they missed the extra point, yeah. They had a 5-yard penalty in that game, and it was too much for him to handle. He moved it back 5 yards.
So you can see just one of three has had one blocked. You know that's going through his mind. Plus the pressure, new stadium. First home game of the year for the Cardinal, the Navy GOAT.
Hey, but you know, he's got a great opportunity to put the first points ever at Stanford's new stadium.
Yeah, this could be very memorable.
Yeah. Go down in history, Stanford history anyway.
It's going to be a 21-yard effort. Straight on. A few butterflies in the stomach of both those men. Walter Harris, Trent Edwards. This to put Stanford on the board. 4 ticks left in the half. It is on its way, and it is good. So Stanford, after all of that, does score to end the first half with the Naval Academy leading the Stanford Cardinal by a 10-3 count at the end of the first 30 minutes of play. Turnovers once again have been the story of the game for both teams. But Navy leads at 10-3. Stanford scores last. We'll see if that does give them any momentum at all. That, I don't know. It remains to be seen. But Navy leading 10-3 at the half. Stanford unable to get itself into the end zone. Turned the ball over a couple of times. We go to Amy Gutierrez right now with Paul Johnson. Amy.
Thanks, Barry. Now, Coach, you came here with a little bit of a disadvantage. You lost to Stanford last year at Navy, and you have a home field advantage with the new stadium, but you're holding your own. How was your plan of attack, and are you...
Well, we should be up 17-0 or whatever. We made a stupid mistake down there. At the end was... what it was. They ran 2 in 4 seconds. That's pretty good clock management.
But you must be pretty happy with how you're executing your play tonight.
We're executing, but we can come back out and take the momentum back.
Barry, back to you.
Yeah, I thought pretty well put.
Yeah, absolutely. The mistakes cost Navy from getting a big lead at halftime, but, you know, that's the way the ball bounces sometimes since Stanford's back in the ballgame.
Turnover story of the game. It's a 7-point game at the half. Navy 10 and Stanford 3. Still 30 minutes of football remaining to be played. The game is right there, sitting on a tee, waiting for somebody to just go ahead and take it. We're coming back.
If your son has the dream of playing football, now you can help him succeed like never before. Introducing Backyard Drills with Bill Parcells, the most powerful inside pro football coaching video ever produced.
Hi, I'm Bill Parcells, head coach of the Dallas Cowboys.
and I'll be your head coach for Backyard Drills Football DVD.
Imagine Bill Parcells and legendary players teaching you techniques taught to the pros.
Don't look at the face, follow the chest.
No matter how little you know about football, learn in just minutes how to teach your child any position.
I know how to develop a winning attitude in young men. I know that together, we can do the same with your son.
Order Backyard Drills today and try it for 30 days absolutely risk-free. All 22 positions on offense and defense, but that's not all. Order today and get 2 free bonus DVDs, sports nutrition and fitness, plus kicking and punting. All 4 DVDs over 6.5 hours. Yours to try for 30 days absolutely risk-free. Not available in stores, makes a great gift, so call now for this limited time offer.
The Pontiac G6 Series offers more combinations of options and accessories than there are drivers in America. G6 sedan, coupe, or hardtop convertible. Choose a shape, then get to your Pontiac dealer.
Now get 0% financing for 60 months on remaining 2006 G6 models with V6 engine. Hurry for best selection. See your local Pontiac dealer today.
Let's grab some McDonald's.
You buying?
Why do I always have to buy?
'Cause you're the one with the fancy job.
And the fancy tie. You know what? There. Now you're the one who's buying.
The tie did touch you last.
Money's tight these days. Good thing there's McDonald's dollar menu. Get a juicy double cheeseburger or other favorites for only $1.
Welcome back. It's halftime here at the new Stanford Stadium. Barry Tompkins with Coach Bill Walsh and former high school trophy winner Jim Plunkett. It's a 10-3 Navy lead at the half. Hasn't exactly been a half that I don't believe either coach would want to put in a time capsule. Speaking of a time capsule, before we kicked it off here today, the opening of the new stadium, a flyover. It is Fleet Week here, of course, in the Bay Area. Skydiving maneuvers, a little bit of everything. A little something for everybody in the first half, a little something for everybody during the game as well. But this is a far prettier picture than the football game has been. American flag being flown in. And here is a landing view of from the helmet camera of one of the skydivers as he brought it down right on to midfield. One with the Stanford flag, one with the United States Naval Academy flag, and then shortly thereafter, that's John Arriaga, the biggest mover and shaker on the rebuilding of this stadium. They got it done from the end of last football season to the start of this football season. Actually, they had moved the game that was to be a home game down to San Jose last week. The stadium would have, in fact, been ready then. Nonetheless, we're underway. The new stadium is all built, shiny new, looking good, but not the team. It's 10-3 Navy over Stanford at the half.
Exceptional construction equipment and the team to stand behind it. That's Pape. Pape Machinery, your authorized John Deere and Hitachi construction dealer, is proud to be the complete source for your heavy equipment needs. Since 1938, equipment owners throughout the West have counted on Pape. And when you need hard-working equipment for your business, you can count on Pape Machinery. With 9 locations throughout Northern California and Nevada, plus 25 across the West, the members of Pape Machinery are committed to your success. Pape, we keep you moving.
My Camry Hybrid gets 40 miles per gallon in the city.
Really? Which city, Steve?
Let's find out. What do we got?
We got 40.
Told you so.
40 again.
40?
40, partner.
You looking at me?
I say 40, Steven.
The Camry Hybrid. 40 miles per gallon in the city. Any city.
So how much in L.A.?
So far, 0.
The team congratulates Barry Bonds on the 3-run bomb. You gotta love the spirit of this team.
The weekly preview show that can't be missed is back. Join Jay Glazer, Tim Brown, Jason Sehorn, and Eddie George as our insiders break the biggest stories.
Last week, we're the first to report.
With in-depth interviews.
His upside is tremendous, so you got to go with the young guy.
And up-to-the-minute breaking news.
I guarantee that I will not be stopped Sunday.
FSN Pro Football Preview, tonight on FSN.
Welcome back to the Stanford-Navy game. I'm Amy Gutierrez. Now, it's no secret that this stadium needed to be renovated, and I had a chance to sit down earlier this week and talk to some people about what this stadium boasts and why it is a football player's and a fan's fantasy venue.
I think the football stadium is one of the ways that we needed in order to help catch ourselves up as we rebuild our football program.
Last November, immediately following the Cardinals season finale, the renovation of Stanford Stadium began. $90 million and 42 weeks later, the school has made good on its promise to deliver a state-of-the-art football facility in time for the 2006 season. But it wasn't easy.
We knew right from the beginning we'd need 2 shifts a day from all the workers, and we would work every Saturday. And in the last month or so, we've worked every Sunday also.
The original stadium, built in 1921, was considered one of the greatest and largest stadiums in the country. But 85 years has taken a toll.
The university's talked about for the last 30 years, we have studies and documents going back of the need to replace Stanford Stadium, way back.
The renovated stadium marks a new era for Stanford football and provides the Cardinal with that home field advantage it's lacked in the past.
Just 15 feet behind our benches, behind our visitor benches, there's fans right there, and it goes straight up, and I think that's going to be a huge aspect.
The upper deck is all aluminum planking, so I think when the fans stand up, start clapping and cheering, it's going to create a very loud atmosphere.
The more intimate facility now holds just 50,000 seats, down from more than 85,000. The track has been removed, allowing for better sight lines that are 70 to 100 feet closer to the action. And the double-decker style gives every fan the best seat in the house. As for those seats, they all have backs and more leg room. The stadium also boasts 2 scoreboards now, a new press box, TVs are located at all concession stands, and last but hardly least, there are more bathrooms.
There were a lot of changes that ensued during the reconstruction of Stanford Stadium, one of which was this actual field. The original plan was to lay in maintenance-free artificial turf. But after long discussions with former players and the old-school style influence of Coach Walt Harris, Stanford opted for natural turf. A lot more work, but by far the best playing surface.
That was always had been the goal, to have grass, and also it's a tremendous recruiting advantage to have grass versus artificial surface.
The playing field is only a part of the bigger picture. It's the entire stadium that is likely to attract future Stanford football stars.
It's as nice as anybody's stadium in America. It may not be as big as some of the others, but who cares about that? The most important thing is it's packed.
Packed on opening day won't be a problem. To keep them coming is the ultimate goal.
They're going to be excited for the first game, but we have to play good football for them. And so we can give them energy, and they can give us energy, and that's how the home field advantage will really help us out.
Well, the buzz is certainly out. The fans are flocking. Of course, tonight they sold more than 40,000 seats. Last year at this time, they had sold 11,600 seats. As of today, 29,000. That's up 152%. So sales are good. Barry, back to you. We're gonna go to break right now.
This town is not big enough for the 2 of us.
Hold on there, cowboy.
I show comparison rates from other insurance companies and...
That's great. Esurance has them too. Can you also buy the policy?
Does not compute.
At Esurance, if we can't give you the best deal, we'll show you where you can and help you buy the policy right away.
Does not talk.
Looks like the competition couldn't handle Esurance. Need a ride?
Sure.
Quote and compare. Save on auto insurance at esurance.com today.
With double cheeseburgers for $1 each, I can keep the party jumping.
McDonald's Dollar Menu. A whole lot of what I love for a little bit of change.
Every day I get in the queue to get on the bus that takes me to you. I don't want to cause no fuss, but can I...
Redesigned from the inside out, the next Nissan Quest, part of the next generation of Nissan thinking.
At Cache Creek Casino Resort, play famously. Join us for Motown great, the incomparable Smokey Robinson on October 13th. And experience the wit and wisdom of one of the world's most beloved comedians, Bill Cosby, on November 3rd. For tickets, go to CacheCreek.com or any Ticketmaster outlet. Cache Creek Casino Resort. Well played.
Oh, and you can talk to anyone in our network for free.
Well, how do I know who's in your network? A shirt?
All of them.
What if I want to call somebody outside of the network?
Call anyone, anytime for just $40 a month. Metro PCS.
Hello.
Permission to speak freely. Now you can get the Motorola Razr V3C. Pick one up at any Metro PCS store or authorized dealer.
Welcome back to the new Stanford Stadium. It's a 10-3 Navy lead as we prepare for the start of the second half. I'm Barry Tompkins, along with the coach Bill Walsh and quarterback Jim Plunkett. And Bill, at this time we always seem to talk about adjustments. I don't know if it's so much a case of adjustments here. It's really take care of the football as we look ahead.
Well, there's a lot to that. Stanford dropped a number of passes early, no question about it. Then Navy misfired a couple of times. So that's been part of it. But the pattern's been set. Navy's going to run the ball and pass selectively, and Stanford's going to throw the ball and run selectively. And Stanford started to show real signs of life late in the second quarter, so I think it's anybody's ball game.
All right, Jim, everybody talks about momentum in this game of football. Does Stanford, with that last field goal, really have any kind of momentum?
No, I'd like to think so. It's good to end the half with a score and get back into the ball game. As Coach mentioned, a slow start by the Stanford offense, a few miscues by Trent Edwards, and a couple of drop passes, but in that second quarter, he really came to life, moved that football. They had an opportunity to score a touchdown at the half, didn't quite get it, but I think they feel the groove right now offensively, and I think in the second half you'll see more wide open offense by Stanford.
All right, before we look ahead of the second half, let's look back for a moment on the first half, some of the highlights, and a lot of mistakes really is the story of the first half. Trent Edwards throwing the ball pretty well, a little tall that time for Dre. He couldn't hang on to that one. A little bit later, this was in the first quarter, over the middle, had Miller wide open. Miller couldn't hold on to it. And then later again, it was Navy who came back, put the first points on the scoreboard with that field goal right there. And then it was Hampton taking it in from a yard out to give Navy a 10-0 lead. Stanford coming right back, however, but look at this pass. Behind the intended receiver, Noli, intercepted by the Naval Academy. They drove it 80 yards to the 10-yard line. Look at this pitch. That is flat out ugly. Stanford came back the other way, wound up with a 21-yard field goal right at the end of the first half. The score right now, 10-3. Walt Harris, yeah, I'm happy with that field goal, but I'm sure he's thinking at the bottom of his heart, would have liked to have had a little bit more than that. 10-3, Navy's going to have the football when we come back, and they have scored 10 of the last 13 games, their first possession of the second half.
Something told me it was over.
There comes a time when you're ready to move on to something better. Like the golden, rich flavor of Miller Genuine Draft. It's beer, grown up.
And every drop.
As I started to mention, starting the second half, in the last 13 games, they have scored on their first possession of the second half 10 times. Here are the first half numbers. Nothing that really jumps out. Offense is very close, 187 yards for Stanford, 183 yards, or rather 183 for Stanford, 187 yards for Navy. Navy had a better offensive first quarter, Stanford a better offensive second quarter. Turnovers have been the story of the game, 2 for Stanford, 1 for Navy when they were about to take it in, as Paul Johnson told Amy Gutierrez, for a 17-0 lead. So we'll see if that turns out being the story of this game.
People sometimes stare, but it's okay. We've embraced it. He has a fat wallet.
As long as we save money eating at Subway restaurants, my wallet keeps getting bigger.
Head into your neighborhood Subway restaurant and get today's daily special for only $2.49. A new tasty sub every day so you'll never get bored, and it's only $2.49. Subway, eat fresh.
Oh, and our son, absolutely. He's the hero at school.
Everybody loves him. You're the guy with the dad with the fat wallet.
He wants a fat wallet when he grows up.
The PG&E Solar Schools program is in hundreds of California schools. We're teaching kids about the possibilities of renewable power.
It also makes the bubbles come up.
And we're pretty excited about where they might take it.
You should wear these.
The Solar Schools program in local California schools, because the future is renewable energy.
On December 17th, Range Rover Sport experienced rush hour 200 feet beneath Tokyo. See how at LandRoverUSA.com. Designed for the extraordinary, the Range Rover Sport by Land Rover.
Welcome back. Both teams on the field to start the second half. Before we get to that second half, let's go down the field. Amy Gutierrez with Walt Harris. Amy?
All right, Coach, kind of a tougher first half. You had some missed opportunities, but you did get on the board. How are you coming back the second half to attack?
Well, after that first half, what could go wrong went wrong in first half on offense. We got to take care of business. Our defense did a solid job, stopped down the goal line. So we got to get back playing our football.
All right, thanks, Coach. Thanks for your time.
All right, thanks very much, Amy. Navy will have the ball to start the second half, and for whatever reason, they have been very effective in their first possession of the second half. Plunk, I mentioned this earlier, but in the last 13 games, they scored in their first possession 10 times.
Well, halftime's all about adjustments, although they were very effective, in the first half, they'll probably make some changes, attack where they feel, Stanford's weakness is, and maybe that's one of the reasons why they come out and are able to score on the first drive of the second half, because they do make those adjustments, take advantage of what Stanford's doing. Walt Harris, Bill, felt that his defense did a pretty good job in the first half.
Well, they came back and started to play a lot better. It's not quite good enough, to be honest with you. But Navy is meticulous with everything they do. That is Jim. I'm just repeating what Jim said, but they know exactly what to do next by the design of their offense and the execution of it. And Stanford is getting guys wide open, and Navy's not getting any pressure on at all. So Trent Edwards ought to be able to throw for 200 or 300 yards the second half.
Right. His numbers in the first half, 13 of 20 for 142 yards, and you're right, that number probably should have been closer to 16 of 20 for a whole lot more than that. Yeah, not only that, all those yards came in the second quarter because he had 0 passing yards in the first quarter. Right. So Navy will have it first, and I think a very important possession here for the Middies. And for Stanford, you look at it both ways, and for Stanford to be able to stop them, get that ball back, and feel confident about the way they finished that first half and continue on the second half. But you're right, Navy's a tough team to stop on the ground, and Stanford's got to find a way to do it, either as a team concept or individuals have to step up and make plays.
And this kickoff is important. They need a real good kickoff to get Navy on the 20 or inside the 20.
Yeah, Derek Belch will do the kicking. He's got a stronger leg than Zachary. Comes forward, drives this one. It's going to get to about the 1-yard line. It's going to be Campbell at the 1. Campbell with a 10, little gap to the 20, 25, 30, trying to get to the outside. Only the kicker to beat to the 45, and Belch knocks him out of bounds.
Yes,
Well
Bill,
done.
never truer words are spoken, Bill.
Well, he got inside the 20, the wrong 20. But that was beautifully blocked all the way through.
57-yard return.
Beautiful blocking.
That was a big hole for him to take the ball up the field.
So Navy will start at the Stanford 42-yard line, following a 57-yard return by Campbell. No secret what they're going to do here. Triple option again. Ballard, the first option, picks up about 2. Stanford has closed that down pretty well. Michael Okwo on the tackle for the Cardinals. Here's what the Middies did in the first half. Punted in the first after 5 plays. They had a field goal of 23 yards. And they had the touchdown and then fumbled at the Stanford 10-yard line. And that hurt them.
That was a long drive, too. Well executed. And they mishandled one play.
Second down and 8. And the pitch this time to Hines. Hines gets it outside. Nice block. First down and more. Knocked out of bounds at about the 27-yard line. O.J. Washington with a terrific block. And that's something Paul Johnson insists. His wideouts better be able to block.
Yeah, because they're not going to get many passes.
Exactly.
You know, so they better block for those running backs. But I thought there was a clip out there.
Yeah, there was, Jim.
And, you know,
they're right there. It's right on the screen. You know, here it comes. There it is, right there.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. First down at the 28-yard line, nonetheless. This time, I'm not quite sure what happened. Ballard brought Hampton with him.
Looked like he couldn't get the ball out of Hampton's stomach.
Hampton wound up with the ball. I think he was trying to pull it out. Take a look.
I think he was too, and he just went right along with it.
Yeah.
I think they had words. You could see it when they went back to the huddle.
Picked up 2 yards, second and 8. Ball at the 21-yard line. Hampton this time with a late pitch to Campbell. Campbell still on his feet and gets the first down. Ball might have been kicked loose, but I think it's going to be a Navy first down. I think they will keep possession.
Well, that's either excellent blocking downfield or it's holy, one or the other, because they're sticking right on the Stanford defenders.
Well, it's going to be short of a first down.
But take a look at these blocks downfield. There's one. There's one. There's one. There's one. They're doing a great job.
Well, the ball did come loose, and it was Sean White who recovered it. So instead of a first down, Navy does keep possession, but again, they put it on the grass.
Right.
Third down and less than a yard. And the keeper by Hampton, and the first down is just short of the Stanford 15-yard line. Udofia makes the stop for the Cardinal.
And that time, all he did was follow the fullback right into the line of scrimmage for the first down. Didn't want to pitch it out, run an option, checking that ball a little bit more, a little concerned probably.
Well, he's had a couple of errant pitches, and not just in this game, but that one just a moment ago to Campbell was a little behind him also. First down, just short of the Stanford 15. This time Ballard gets the call, gets inside the 15 to 14, gain of 2.
The ball carrier.
It'll be second and 8.
Well, they'll come outside with the ball, obviously, and unless the Stanford defenders react more quickly and attack more quickly, they're going to all get blocked.
Ball at the 14-yard line, second down and 8. Just underway second half. Navy leads it by 7. And this time the pitch to Campbell, and he's going to take it in for a Navy touchdown. Perfect execution by the Mids.
Just right down the line with the football. He was being chased from behind. It would have been a great play, but the perfect timing. There goes Hampton down the line of scrimmage.
Look at those downfield blocks. See them right there, 2 of them. And the Stanford players couldn't get off those blocks.
Yeah, I mean, that's the way you draw it up.
Right.
Try for point. And once again, Navy makes good on its first possession of the second half. 11 out of the last 14 games. Try for point is up and good. And with 11 minutes and 26 seconds remaining to be played in the third period, Navy takes it 42 yards in 7 plays. Following a 57-yard kick return, they lead it 17-3. We're coming back.
On December 17th, Range Rover Sport experienced rush hour 200 feet beneath Tokyo. See how at LandRoverUSA.com. Designed for the extraordinary, the Range Rover Sport by Land Rover.
Hon, did you change the code again?
It's our anniversary.
We know responsibility can be challenging enough. That's why if your property is ever stolen, we'll replace it within 48 hours. Responsibility. What's your policy?
Fine.
Liberty Mutual.
Well, Navy right out of the box in the second half gets a good kick return and then takes it the other 42 yards. Campbell's 14-yard run, capping a 42-yard drive. With the conversion, Navy leads it 17-3. Stanford will have its first possession of the second half. And what Stanford has done, as you can see, punt, they fumbled the kickoff the second time. That resulted in a score for Navy, and then the interception.
You know, but both those scoring drives by Navy came on a short side of the field. 25-yard drive, a 42-yard drive. So Stanford's just got to protect the ball better and not give up big plays.
Harrison and Kimball, the deep men for Stanford. This one is going to go deep into the end zone. Harrison going to come out with it. Gets to the 10 and is going to be dragged down and cracked right as he got the 20-yard line.
Well, defensively, when Stanford's on defense again, if they have a cornerback blitz, that's about the only way they're going to stop that option, where he comes right off the edge at the snap of the ball and gets the pitch man, because otherwise they're just getting blocked. So, you know, Stanford has a choice. If they have a corner blitz, they better use it.
And of course, if Hampton reads that, then he keeps and see you later.
Yeah, they're going to have a guy on him too.
So Edwards will lead the Cardinal, and let's see if they can move the ball as they did in the second half. In the second quarter, I should say. Don't start out very well as Gerhardt is cracked by David Mahoney, who has been probably the defensive player of the game so far.
And that time they came on a blitz, they ran a draw to Gerhardt, and obviously read very well. Comes the linebacker.
Here he is.
And
nobody even accounted for him. They're blocking.
You know, they had no closed end that time. They had 3 wides. No tight end in the game.
Second down and 14. Edwards straight back. He's got time once again. He's got all day. Throws a swing this time for Gerhardt. Plenty of room ahead. And Gerhardt's going to get enough for the first down across the 31-yard line, right about at the 31-yard line. But I think that spot will give Stanford a first down.
Well, it's pretty evident to us. They should be throwing the ball.
Right.
And throwing it and throwing it and throwing it.
You know, one of the things that's so impressive about Edwards that time, you know, more often than not, he puts the receiver in a position to catch the ball, running up the field and pick up that extra valuable yards that they need.
Well, that was beautiful.
First down at the 31-yard line. Gerhardt again. That closes down pretty quickly. Give Gerhardt about 3. Mahoney and Caldwell on the left side of the Navy defense there to make the stop once again.
I appreciate the interest in running the ball. I really do. But in this case, Navy's going to move it when they get it. So Stanford has to be willing to throw and make first downs and get big chunks of yardage.
2nd down and 7 now for the Cardinal. Edwards straight back. This time the blitz comes, but he still unloads it, and it's almost picked. Double coverage there for Navy, and Keenan Little again closed well and almost picked it.
I think Navy feels they have to come after Trent Edwards, not give him time when he's back there throwing the football. Otherwise, he's going to pick him apart. So they came on a blitz that time. But it's well picked up.
Just way too late to throw it out.
Right. You got to find somebody else running across the field or down the field.
Remember, Stanford's receiving corps still depleted. Moore has been out since the first period. Bradford out for the year. Those are their 2 starting wideouts. Out of the gun this time. Blitz comes again. Edwards unloads it. Again, he unloads it into double coverage, but a nice grab that time by Miller. And that's going to be enough for Stanford first down. I beg your pardon, it was Yancey. The freshman showing a little something here.
And what a throw by Trent that time. Well covered that time. He looks around the field, looks to his left, can't find anybody open, and there he just fires a bullet right to Yancey for the first down. Great throw by Trent.
Yeah, that's right. That shows you what he'll do in the National Football League. I think he's going to do the same kinds of thing. He'll be a real top pro someday.
That was a big-time pass. First down Cardinal at the 43. Straight ahead goes.
I like the spirit of doing that,
but there is still plenty of time to get back in this ball game.
Yeah.
They're only down 14 points, but you know I do see your point.
well, a play pass. You know, if you fake the run and then throw it, you're expert at that.
This time a trips left for the Cardinal. First time I've seen them in this set today. And a quick screen this time. And that's handled nicely. Lynn on the receiving end. Navy stepped up, defended it pretty well. It's going to be 3rd down and about 3, right in midfield.
Yeah, only pick up about 5 yards that time.
Yeah, they had people out there to block, and you can see the men coming downfield to block, and that's not quite as good as the Navy guys block, to be honest with you.
3rd down and 3. Big play for the Cardinal here, right in midfield. Out of the gun again. Edwards steps up, throws. Incomplete off the hands of Lynn, and a lot of middies around there, so it's going to be 4th down. Stanford will have to give it up.
Yeah, you got to make those kind of catches. Although Trent Edwards fired that ball extremely hard, you've got to make those grabs.
Good protection. Drills it right there.
Mahoney stuck a hand in, knocked it away. Mahoney has just come up huge.
Mahoney is something else.
Yeah, really played well. So Tomlinson going to be the deep man to receive this punt. And a high kick that turns over and will hit and take a Stanford bounce and go dead inside the 5-yard line. Now that's the way to do that. So we will jump away. Excellent punt. Punt rather puts Navy 96 yards away from the Stanford end zone, but they lead it by 14, 17-3.
And everyone has big congrats for Eric Chavez on the 2-run jack. Boy, you gotta love the camaraderie on this team.
Sports' ultimate nightly highlight show is here. The FSN Final Score.
He'll unload, he scores! What a shot!
It's the only national show that gives you nothing but wall-to-wall highlights. No fluff, no filler, just all the action that's lighting up the sports world from coast to coast.
He got it again!
The FSN Final Score, tonight on FSN.
Let's grab some McDonald's.
You buying?
Why do I always have to buy?
'Cause you're the one with the fancy job.
And the fancy tie. You know what? There. Now you're the one who's buying.
The tie did touch you last.
Money's tight these days. Good thing there's McDonald's Dollar Menu. Get a juicy double cheeseburger or other favorites for only $1.
College football at FSN Bay Area is brought to you by Valero, the energy to take you anywhere. Well, the Minis will get it back, but they will start 96 yards, 97 yards actually, as they mark it at the 3-yard line away from the Stanford end zone. 7:46 remaining to be played here in the third quarter.
Stanford needs a short field for their offense in this game, at least a couple of times to get back in it.
Maybe they give this time on, and that's a little bit of a different look, as Ballard will get it across the 10 to about the 12-yard line. Again, well blocked.
You know, it's really amazing though. Also, they don't have any real speed demons to go for 70 yards, but that's just a hard-nosed running right there. Pick up 9 yards.
Harrison take a little ride. Gain of 9, 2nd and 1. Kind of a free play here. Let's see if Navy doesn't put it up. They don't. They give it to the fullback and see if he got enough. I don't think he did. Might have. Depends on the spot.
Navy has their own system. Their offensive linemen split a full yard one from the other, and that's not typical in football, college or pro. And they try to spread the defense so they can run in there. And then when you collapse inside on them, then they run the offense. So, I mean, it's a very methodical style of football, and it's really worked for them.
Very effective. They're very disciplined. We talked earlier about a couple of players on this Navy team that play their high school ball. It is a first down at De La Salle High School. I mean, they run a similar system, and they just really run it effectively. I remember saying a couple of years ago, the two best coached teams I saw, I think this was 2 or 3 years ago, were Boise State and De La Salle High School.
Yeah, makes sense. Yeah.
So first down for Navy at the 13-yard line. This time Hampton going to go up. Rolls out, throws, wide open again. Making the reception this time was Tyree Barnes. Oh, we're talking about the local connection here. John Chan and Cole Smith, both out of De La Salle. And, of course, they were part of that 151-game win streak that De La Salle High School piled up over a period of years. They never lost a high school game.
And Paul Johnson spoke very highly of those two boys coming from De La Salle, coming from a winning program. They're just used to winning. They bring that atmosphere to the Naval Academy.
And it's getting contagious at Navy. Here's another pass. Tomlinson makes the catch at the 30-yard line. Well, it's not much, but it's getting the job done, and it's putting Stanford back on its heels. Well, and here is De La Salle, and I mean, these guys, they never have the outstanding athlete. Of course, Maurice Drew was the recipient of this, but they just block you up front. They get off the ball. I mean, it's like coaching footage, isn't it, Bill?
It really is. They look like a highly polished college team, De La Salle.
First down at the 31-yard line, and Naval Academy just doing what it does. Fullback Ballard this time gets a couple. Take it up to 33. It'll be 2nd down and 8. Navy hasn't blinked at 2nd and 8s.
Probably one of the reasons why the academies, Air Force and Navy in particular, run the style of offense they do is because they don't have the big monster linemen to pass protect, hold those pass rushers out, and give the quarterback time to throw. They adapt to the kind of athletes they have at the academies.
That's exactly right. We'll hear a little more about that in just a moment. There's a reverse this time to Tomlinson. He's got the whole field. He's the 40, trying to get outside. He does. Midfield, 45-yard line of Stanford, not out of bounds. Brandon Harrison made a saving tackle. They'll mark this back at the 48. But again, that we talked about little wrinkles, and they'll run 1 or 2 of those a game, and it keeps you off balance.
Sure. Yeah, you're absolutely right. They are keeping Stanford off balance. They're throwing the ball a little bit more than they have in their 2 previous games, that's for sure. And they're being successful with it this time. And now they, they throw a reverse every now and then. There's Harrison running them down.
There's some great blocks that were set up for that reverse, and they executed them very well.
Gain of 18. First down in Stanford territory. Here's the pitch again to Campbell. He hits the gap to the 40, to the 35-yard line, and you're absolutely right, Bill. I mean, their execution is just perfect.
And you need the cornerback blitz. So you just have to show it. Because the cornerback blitz, they couldn't block. And they might be a little more vulnerable to the pass, but they just have to have a way to cut that off.
Tom McAndrew comes off limping for the Cardinal. A gain of 15. And they are just eating Stanford up.
Just watch on your screen the blocking down. There's one, and there's one. You see, and that's they do that so well. And Stanford's in a position where they're just vulnerable to those kind of blocks.
Right at the 33-yard line. This time to give the fullback Ballard. Not much there. Might have gotten 2. Navy has now rushed for 227 yards.
Well, I'll be honest with you. San Jose State ran for 330.
Yeah, that's right. That's true.
So let's figure we're doing better than we. Of course, there's a lot of time left, but.
So they'll mark this the 31. Again, a 2nd and 8. And this time straight ahead, Ballard down to the 20-yard line. Just ran right over Trevor Hooper that time.
You can see the inside. See those line splits? That shows you a good look at the line splits, how wide those linemen place themselves and widen the Stanford defense.
Not only that, the cut blocks that those Navy linemen use.
Yeah.
Right at the knees of Stanford linemen. They can't recover quick enough.
No.
First down at the 20-yard line. Hampton going to throw. Now he's in trouble. And he'll take a sack back at the 23. Igbo coming on the sack.
Most teams' sack would be, 6, 7, 8 yards, 9 yards deep. That's a 2-yard sack.
Yeah.
Because they just don't throw the ball very often. He doesn't get very deep on the play-action fake.
See the cut right there? Cut blocks.
But a good play that time by the Stanford defense.
2nd down and 13 now. It's really 2nd 12, we'll call it. And the pitch coming the other way this time, and that's not going anywhere. Stanford defending that very well. It was Zingleton.
Yeah. We scored inside out. And it makes a heck of a difference.
Good play by Aqua that time. He reads it perfectly.
Very well done.
So Navy now 3rd and long. They've done extremely well in 3rd downs. Here it is again. Oko does make a good play.
Another look at it.
That's once again penetration in the backfield really disrupts things.
3rd down, 15. And they just run the fullback straight ahead. And so that will bring out the field goal team, I'm quite sure, for the Naval Academy. Try to increase this lead, make it a 17-point edge. Joey Bullen is the place kicker. This will be a 39-yard effort. He'll hit it right at the 29-yard line. And it is on its way. It's got the distance. If it has the direction, it does. And Navy leads it by 17. It's a 20-3 Navy lead. And remember, that drive started at the 3-yard line. 2 minutes, 11 seconds remaining to be played in the 3rd period. Navy 20, Stanford 3. We're coming back.
Summer may be over, but the deals on Toyotas are just getting hotter. Right now, get 0% APR financing or $1,000 cash back on Sienna. 0% or $2,000 on Highlander and 4Runner. And 0% for a whole 60 months or $2,000 back on the 8-passenger Sequoia. And check out the redesigned Camry and RAV4. The Toyotas are ready to roll, but the deals end soon. So hurry into your Toyota dealer today. Toyota, moving forward.
You know, if you're having a bunch of guys over to watch synchronized swimming, forget it. Just serve them weenies. But if you're watching football, you better be grilling Johnsonville brats. Look at them. They're big, fresh, always juicy, and perfect with that other home team favorite. When you give the fans what they want, well, welcome to football party heaven. Welcome to Johnsonville.
Late night sports action on FSN is brought to you by Jack in the Box. Visit Jack in the Box for everything late night.
CMI with Chris Myers. Trent Green leads the Chiefs' explosive attack. Now he's primed to take them to the promised land.
We've been the #1 offense the last couple of seasons, but we haven't got it done from a team standpoint.
The Chris Myers interview, Sunday on FSN.
You're watching FSN.
20-3 ball game with 2 minutes and 11 seconds remaining in the third quarter. Navy just all over the Stanford Cardinal and ruining the Cardinals' party so far. Harrison and Kimball, the deep men for Stanford. High end over end kick. Harrison at the 2. Comes right up the middle and is cracked short of the 20-yard line. Fumbled the ball. And let's see. I think Stanford might have got this back. Now Navy saying they haven't. Let's see. And the Navy player came out of there with a Navy ball. And that was a great hit.
Well, really, Harrison left his blocking that time and went outside the blocking, so he was really vulnerable to really take a hit.
Irv Spencer was the guy that cracked him.
You see his blocking here, and he leaves it out there. So there wasn't anybody to block for him.
Great strip by Spencer. Rashawn King recovered. Navy right back in business at the Stanford 16-yard line. So Hampton out under center once again. See those gaps Bill Walsh was talking about on the offensive line of Navy?
Huge splits right here.
There's Ballard, gets ahead for about 4, maybe 5 yards. Udofia makes the tackle, but they're starting to knock Stanford back off the ball now. Just listen to this. Here's the hit by Spencer. Great shot.
And you see the, too bad we can't see that again because the blocking was inside. He had the whole thing set up, and he left the blocking.
I thought it was coming back, but, you know, next play by Navy.
Second down and 6, gain of 4 on first down. Here's a pitch to Campbell. Campbell trying to get around Oklo, looking for the one block. Didn't quite get it. Skips out of bounds.
You want to see the kickoff return, and you can see the blocking setting up right here. It's right here, and he leaves it. So when that happens, he's just going to take a big hit.
Which he did. Spit it up. King recovered. Now Navy has it. Look at the 3rd down and 6. No gain on that last play for Campbell. Hampton rolls out. Now a run. He's going to get to the 10. Steps inside to the 5. Down to the 2-yard line. First down, middies.
Again, they spread the defense out so far. They're just big holes. Look how those line splits are. Now he's got all kind of room to run.
Was that run all the way, Bill, or was he going to throw it?
No, I think he wanted to throw it, don't you?
Oh, yeah, it was a pass play. Aqua came up the field, cut him off, so he just saw that big hole and turned it up.
Yeah.
This time he just follows the fullback into the end zone for a Navy score. And Navy has taken a commanding 26-3 lead pending the extra point. I mean, they're just taking it to the Cardinal.
The Cardinal just has to, as you know, we may not even be talking about this season, But they have to get men who really play disciplined football, follow their blocks, do their jobs, react, and it's going to take Walt Harris a little time.
Walt Harris told Amy Gutierrez that the first half was ugly. What do they say about this one?
See.
Try for point is up and good. It's a 27-3 Navy lead, 50 seconds remaining third quarter.
You see those line splits? Wow. And the fullback leads, and the quarterback just keeps it and runs right in behind it. That's just part of their goal line offense, or short yardage offense.
Well, they have just come out firing here in the second half.
And as Jim points out, you just can't fumble the ball. You can't turn it over like that. Gee.
Especially in a game where you're struggling, you can't get the ball back, and once you have it, you got to protect it, and come up with big plays to get back in the ball game. But they're shooting themselves in the foot every time they touch the ball. The kickoff return teams in particular, 2 fumbles on kickoffs, plus on the very first kickoff of the game, nobody caught it.
Nobody caught it. No.
And the middies just get after you. There won't be a return here.
That's a break right there for Stanford. Don't return it.
So Stanford will start at the 20-yard line.
And as I mentioned before, these academies, they're having a great time out there flying around. And I tell you, I've never been so sore after a game as when we played the academy schools, because they were out there hitting you, and knowing it was, at least not in this case, maybe tonight, but knowing they'd probably get beat, but they didn't care. They just hit you as hard as they could.
And now it's not a gimme that they're going to get beat, as we said. 27-11 over the last 3 years. That's pretty good.
It is excellent.
And they're not playing Lafayette and Lehigh anymore either. There's a quick toss this time to Yancey, and he can't hang on.
They can't do that. You spend all that time in off-season, preseason, practicing, going through spring ball, all those other things, all the hours on the field, then you go out and drop a ball like that. You just can't do that.
Yeah, and you have this many miscues. It's very difficult to win a football game, that's for sure.
And this place has gotten quiet, and I must say has gotten somewhat empty as well. Credit Navy. Edwards throws, and the catch is made nicely that time. Wasn't an easy catch by Kelton Lynn. And that's going to give Stanford a first down.
There's sometimes, you get a game like this, you're going to have to drop back and literally throw every down to get back in the football game, and it's still possible to do that right now.
Well, it is. 22 seconds remaining.
Now here's just a basic hooking pattern, and receiver's going to be there. He's going to get hit after he catches it. He's got to know that.
Maybe tackling the ball. Good job by Lynn to hang on to it. First down at the 31. And here's a give to Gerhardt, and Gerhardt's going to be surrounded, downed after a gain of about 2.
That's not going to sit well with a lot of people, I must say.
Last play of the third quarter, and a quarter absolutely dominated by the Naval Academy. I mean, they are just hitting on all cylinders, and Stanford is helping them out by doing absolutely nothing right. It's a 27-3 Navy lead. Stanford has 15 minutes to get themselves back in this football game, but they have self-destructed, and Navy has said thank you very much and taken advantage. We're coming back.
Building the fastest car in its class doesn't mean leaving intelligence, beauty, and control behind. The 2006 306 horsepower IS from Lexus at your Lexus dealer.
Exceptional construction equipment and the team to stand behind it. That's Pape. Pape Machinery, your authorized John Deere and Hitachi construction dealer, is proud to be the complete source for your heavy equipment needs. Since 1938, equipment owners throughout the West have counted on Pape. And when you need hard-working equipment for your business, you can count on Pape Machinery. With 9 locations throughout Northern California and Nevada, plus 25 across the West, the members of Pape Machinery are committed to your success. Pape, we keep you moving.
The weekly preview show that can't be missed is back. Join Jay Glazer, Tim Brown, Jason Sehorn, and Eddie George as our insiders break the biggest stories.
Last week, we're the first to report.
With in-depth interviews.
His upside is tremendous, so you got to go with the young guy.
And up-to-the-minute breaking news.
I guarantee that I will not be stopped Sunday.
FSN Pro Football Preview, tonight on FSN.
And everyone has big congrats for Eric Chavez on the 2-run jack. Boy, you gotta love the camaraderie on this team.
Well, it feels like the first time, and the first time hurts. Navy putting a hurt on Stanford. They lead it 27-3 as we start the final quarter. Single setback this time for the Cardinal. Play fake. Edwards rolls to his right. Throws underneath to Dennehy, the tight end. Makes the catch and has the first down. Across the 40 to about the 43-yard line.
Now that was well done. A little late for it, but that was well executed.
I just got to keep moving those chains, but you know, in order to get back in the game, they're going to have to get the ball down the field and come up with some big yardage plays.
You know, another factor is to just get back in the game, even if you lose it, to move the ball and score and play respectably.
Straight back Edwards again. Nye rolls out. He's got plenty of room to run. 45 midfield, first down into Navy territory at the 40-yard line, and a late hit, but no flag. Let's go to Amy Gutierrez right now. Amy?
Thanks, Barry. This is the fun part. We have a couple of local boys that play for Navy, and they played at De La Salle, of course, in that great 151 consecutive win streak. And we're joined by their families. Of course, the players are John Chan, and these are his parents, Mike and Kieran. And we'd like to know, how nice is it to be able to come so close to watch your son play?
It's great because he has his friends from De La Salle, friends from the San Francisco Police Department that watch him grow up as a little kid, and now he's playing for Navy. So it's just fabulous.
Yeah, it's great. We love it. We love it. Nice not to have to travel and deal with jet lag.
Absolutely. Of course, one of his friends is Cole Smith, who also went to De La Salle, and we're joined with his family. These are his parents, Suzanne and Chuck, and his sisters. And how many people from your family and friends are here tonight?
He got 39 tickets. He was able to get tickets from fellow players who didn't have family out here, so it was wonderful. So many people out here to support him.
You said it was a little bittersweet because you don't really get to spend much time with him. Tell me about that.
No, the advantage of home games is that after the game they get to come stay with you until you have to take them back on Monday or Sunday or whatever. But at an away game, we don't get to see him until after the game, and you have to wait by the buses and give him a quick hug and a kiss goodbye, and it's very sad. So you basically have 15-20 minutes with him.
Run to the bus and say goodbye.
So no home-cooked meals tonight, but I'm sure they'll be happy to see their parents and family. Thank you so much, Barry. Back to you.
All right, thanks very much, Amy. And they got to be happy with what they're seeing from their two boys.
You know, you meet the parents of the athletes of both these institutions, and boy, can they be proud.
No, it's very true. It's I can remember I spent a few years with you when you were coaching here doing Stanford football, and it's nice to talk to these kids. I mean, they all read books, and other than play books. You know?
Yeah. Well, you meet the parents, and they're so committed, and that's probably one of the reasons why these guys are attending Navy and Stanford.
Yeah, two great institutions. Naval Academy just beautiful. I don't know if how many folks out here have had a chance to go to Annapolis, and but it's quite a special place. Both these institutions really tremendous. 27-3 though. Navy putting it on Stanford. We're coming back.
This town is not big enough for the two of us.
Hold on there, cowboy.
I show comparison rates from other insurance companies, and...
That's great. Esurance has them, too. Can you also buy the policy?
Does not compute.
At Esurance, if we can't give you the best deal, we'll show you where you can and help you buy the policy right away. Yeah.
Looks like the competition couldn't handle Esurance. Need a ride?
Sure.
Quote and compare. Save on auto insurance at esurance.com today.
Between the kids' carpools and commuting, there's never been a better time for a fuel-efficient Toyota. With 9 stylish cars and SUVs that'll take the pain out of the pump. Check out RAV4, Avalon, Solara, Highlander Hybrid, Matrix, Yaris, Camry Hybrid, Corolla, and Prius. So if you want to go more miles on less money, we've got a Toyota waiting for you. Check them out at your Toyota dealer today. Toyota, moving forward.
Hey, you guys are just like Supercuts, right?
You bet. Have a seat.
Next. Style only works.
I'm the best.
If it works for you. Supercuts, every time.
Well, a look at Alex Fletcher. He was the injured Cardinal on the last play. Appears to be just fine. Looked like he might have gotten kicked. Alex Fletcher, I'm sure, will be back. And here's a sneak by Edwards, and that should get the first down for the Cardinal inside the 30-yard line.
You'd be really surprised how many parents travel with the team. Just amazing. Wherever Stanford goes, so many of the parents go wherever they play. And the same, I met a number of parents of the midshipmen today, and here they are, out here from all parts of the country.
Yeah.
It must be fun to travel and see your youngster play.
Middy's players come from 28 different states. Edwards throws under pressure. The catch is made this time by Dre, the tight end. And a pickup of about 7. Well, Trent Edwards, of course, just had to come up the road a piece. He played his high school ball at Los Gatos, just down the way. And I'm sure, as you pointed out, Bill, a lucrative career awaits him.
It really does.
Second down and 4 here for Trent Edwards and the Cardinal. Underneath to Dre again. Dre makes the catch. That'll be a first down at about the 13-yard line. So Stanford methodically moving the football, but they trail by 24.
It is a lot like the end of the first half, though. They're playing real soft, playing off the receivers. Don't want to give up the big play down the field, so he's got to peck underneath and hopefully somewhere along the way, not necessarily on this drive, but during the next few drives, find a big play somewhere down the field.
2 tight ends, 2 wide out, single setback for Stanford. Straight back blitz comes. It's picked up. Edwards, they flush him. And they drop him down at around the 11-yard line.
And that time they came after him. They came after him with a blitz. Figured they couldn't put any pressure on him with just a 3 or 4 man rush, and they got to him.
John Chan made the tackle. Just heard from his parents just a couple of moments ago. Still turned nothing into a little something. Picked up about 2 yards. It'll be 2nd and 8. Same offensive setting, except they go with an empty backfield this time. And here comes a blitz off the edge, and now Edwards looking for some place to go. Edwards will throw, and a catch is made, close to a first down by Yancey, who makes some amends for that ball he dropped just a couple of moments ago. Great job by Edwards.
Yeah, that time he was flush out of the pocket, came to his left. Yancey did a good job also. He was covered. He faked going deep, came back for the ball, and Edwards was able to find him on the sidelines. Excuse me there. But there's Edwards running to his left. Under pressure, Yancey does a great job of coming back for the ball, helping the quarterback out.
Something you were talking about earlier, too. He was running one way. Of course, the right-handed quarterback has to get his hips squared away, and he did do that. First down and goal at the 3-yard line. The give this time is to Kimball, and he's in. Touchdown, Stanford. So the Cardinal gets on the board. First touchdown of the evening, first touchdown in the new Stanford Stadium.
just a simple power play right up the middle, and Kimball's able to take it for the score. Nothing fancy, just man-on-man blocking. They were able to drive him off the ball.
Well, that play by Edwards, that last pass, that's the thing the pro scouts are looking for. You know, the poise at the last second to find somebody and finally hit him with an accurate ball. And that's just what the pro scouts look for.
Zachary misses the extra point. So the kicking struggles continue for the Cardinals. So it's been that kind of night. Even when something good happens, something bad happens after that. It's a 27-9 Navy lead. Ladies will have the ball back. Just under 12 minutes remaining to be played in the game.
There's a long flag. It's going to be, I believe, the Giants win the pennant. The Giants win the pennant.
The pitch to Willie Mays. He swings and lines it down the right field line.
And Clark hits it up the middle in a center field base hit.
The Giants have won the pennant. The Giants are the champions of the
Each generation has idolized its heroes. Our generation has a chance to create them. Support the Junior Giants.
And everyone has big congrats for Eric Chavez on the 2-run jack. Boy, you gotta love the camaraderie on this team.
On December 17th, Range Rover Sport experienced rush hour 200 feet beneath Tokyo. See how at LandRoverUSA.com. Designed for the extraordinary, the Range Rover Sport by Land Rover.
Stanford with his first touchdown, but missed the extra point. So a 27-9 Navy lead. They'll get it back. 11:58 remaining in the game. 80-yard drive in 13 plays culminated by the 3-yard touchdown run by Kimball. Took 3 minutes and 52 seconds. So Belch will kick it away for Stanford. He'll be kicking to Campbell, who brought it back 57 yards the last time. Belch comes forward and kind of pooches it here. High end over end kick that is handled by the up man. That is Rick Amos, defensive player, who brings it back to about the 33-yard line. Return of 13 yards. Walt Harris watching his team, and I'm sure not too pleased about what he's seeing.
No, he can't be. You know, they're making too many mistakes, number one, and they're giving up too many big plays. Not playing very well on defense. I know it's a young defense, but you got to find a way to get the job done.
So Navy will have it at the 33-yard line. Stanford is showing no indication that they're capable of stopping Navy. And this, of course, as they all are from here on out for the Cardinal, a big possession. Give it a Ballard on first down. He's got a first down and more all the way to midfield.
Well, that's where that fatigue starts to set in defensively. Jim and I mentioned as the game started, you can really run best in the second half when the defense fatigues someone. And in this case, the big line splits and then missed tackle, good block, missed tackle, and they miss because the guys are somewhat tired and the guy's a big load to tackle.
Ball right at midfield. And again, it is Ballard. Ballard cracks forward for about 4. Gets close to the 45-yard line.
Well, am I too optimistic? But if Stanford could somehow stop Navy here, Edwards is throwing the ball beautifully.
Yeah, he certainly is. You know, and I still feel I can get back in this ball game, but something's got to happen, and it's got to happen quickly.
Yeah.
See the numbers on Ballard: 25 carries, 110 yards. Second down and 6. Clock, of course, the ally of the Middies. Here's a pitch to Campbell, and this time Stanford closes it down, but not before Campbell picks up 6 yards and another first down.
They're really, they did a good job that time. But as we point out, if we take a look how wide the Navy line is splitting, and the Stanford defensive linemen are splitting out that wide with just big holes inside, which means the Stanford players have to account for that, and then they run the outs. So it's well designed, and here they are again doing the same thing.
Right back at the 40-yard line. I saw Oklo's arm get caught up in that tackle. He's lucky to get out of there. He's already got an injury.
There he
Here's
goes.
Ballard again. Look out. Gets into the secondary and takes it down to the 30-yard line, close to another Navy first down.
We'll take a look as soon as we can at those line splits, and I'll point them out again. We did it earlier, but when they line up, we'll show them to you again.
But I tell you, that defense, as you mentioned, Bill's got to be dragging. They've been out there the majority of the game, getting hit left and right.
See these line splits here. Each man is about a yard from the other man. That splits the defensive line, and when the ball carrier gets the ball, he's got all kind of running room. See it? That's where they get it. So Stanford should basically be squeezing down their defense, taking that away, and bringing their safeties up. But it's easy to sit up here and talk about it after the fact.
Nick Sanchez, a little shaken up on that play. Appears to be okay, though. A little short of the first down, second down, and just inches. And they give this time to Hall in at fullback, and Hall's going to get enough for a first down across the 30. Down close to the Stanford 29-yard line. 9:28 remaining in the game. And of course, the thing about this Navy offense is that it eats up a ton of clock. That's why I mentioned earlier that the ally is Paul Johnson and the midshipman of Navy. The clock is, I should say. This time they give this to Hall. A little bit sloppy on the exchange between Hampton and Hall. And Sione Fua is there to make the stop for the Cardinal.
Yeah, and Matt Hall only had 8 carries coming into a nice ball game, and he's
giving everybody a chance to play.
A little breather. Yeah, plus giving the starters a little bit of a breather.
Well, Paul Johnson is really an outstanding coach, and he has a great staff. There isn't any question about it. I'm not sure you can coach this football in different conferences, but it's ideal for Navy.
And as we said right at the beginning of the show, it gives you fits preparing for it. Hampton going to throw. Steps up, does. The ball is caught. Close to a first down by Tomlinson. Hampton gunned that one pretty good. It's going to be a little short of the first down. Sims defending for Stanford.
Sometimes I can't believe how far off the defenders are. Every time they make a catch, and here's Hampton dropping back and finding his receiver on the outside. And
look at the difference. The Stanford players
are well off.
Yeah, it's been there all night. And they sort of lull you into it. You don't think there's going to be another pass, and bang, they throw one at you. But you're going to have to challenge people a little more than that.
Right. This is going to be a tad short, and it is.
And that time the receiver didn't have to go on his knees.
No.
That's right.
He was able to stand up and make the grab.
Hampton is 8 of 11 now for 75 yards, and that's just about what Navy, I'm sure, would think of as ideal.
Well, you know what his percentage coming into the game was?
Yes, I do.
22% pass completion.
This is an aerial service for him. Huh?
Yeah, pretty much, you know.
Third down and less than a yard. In fact, it's tad. 3rd and 10. Ballard back in the ballgame at fullback. Hampton just follows Ballard, picks up the first down, short of the 15-yard line. That seems to be their bread and butter in short yardage.
Yeah, they put sort of a lead play for the quarterback.
Yeah, instead of having a fullback lead, or he does have a fullback lead, but instead of a tailback following him through the hole, it's the quarterback.
Yeah.
And again, the clock continuing to tick down. 7:53, 7:52 remaining to be played in the game. Navy with the ball and the lead by 18. At the Stanford 17-yard line, first down. Hampton on the pitch, this time to Campbell. There's the gap again, and Campbell is in. Touchdown, Navy. Do it till they can stop it.
An age-old theory, and it pretty much proves true.
Well, Stanford's just standing back there getting blocked. There's the block right there, and it leaves them a huge running lane.
As you said, Coach, you know, they're just blocking the heck out of the DBs downfield.
Yeah, they really are.
McCoy with a key block on that one, so Navy has put this one, I would have to think, out of reach. Try for point is up, and it is good. And with 7 minutes and 35 seconds remaining to be played in the game, it is Navy 34 and Stanford 9. We're coming back.
Every one of your senses has been made a priority. The 2006 306 horsepower IS350 from Lexus at your Lexus dealer.
The Pontiac G6 Series offers more combinations of options and accessories than there are drivers in America. G6 sedan, coupe, or hardtop convertible. Choose a shape, then get to your Pontiac dealer.
Now get 0% financing for 60 months on remaining 2006 G6 models with V6 engine. Hurry for best selection. See your local Pontiac dealer today.
Attention FSN night owls. Got the late night munchies? Get a sourdough jack sandwich at Jack in the Box. Visit Jack in the Box for everything late night. And watch FSN for all your late night sports action.
CMI with Chris Myers. Trent Green leads the Chiefs' explosive attack. Now he's primed to take them to the promised land.
We've been the #1 offense the last couple of seasons, but we haven't got it done from a team standpoint.
The Chris Myers interview, Sunday on FSN.
It's time now for the Pape play of the game. Pape Machinery, your authorized John Deere and Hitachi dealers, serving the equipment needs of companies throughout the West for over 60 years. And here it is. Campbell diving into the end zone, 17-yard touchdown. Had one from 21 yards out a little bit earlier. Great blocking up front. Stanford defensive backs just getting their hats handed to them today.
Well, they're out there all by themselves because there isn't any pursuit getting out to them.
That's true.
Because the Navy fullbacks dominated the game.
Evans and Kimball, the deep men for Stanford, a little shorter this time. Evans handles it about the 7-yard line, gets a little bit of a gap here, and is finally dragged out from behind after a nice return of about 37 yards up to the 40-yard line. Let's go down to the sidelines once more, and Amy Gutierrez. Amy?
Well, Barry, one of the neat things about the new Stanford Stadium is how family-oriented it's become. For $20, a family of 4 can buy 4 hot dogs, 4 sodas, and a big tub of popcorn. And located just behind me, where they've renovated those arches, is a family fun zone where you can take your kids. There's a big grassy knoll, and they can go run off their energy. And, you know, maybe some adults might want to run off some energy and frustration after tonight's game. Barry, back to you.
Thanks, Amy. I think that's the only place to have any fun for Stanford fans tonight, up in the fun zone, because it's not happening in the stadium. Here's Edwards, who tucks it away and takes it close to a first down, but they're going to mark him short at the 48-yard line. Stanford will go no huddle. I'll bring it right back to the line of scrimmage and start over.
Well, if they could drive down the field and score a touchdown here, it'd just be good for the Stanford program.
And that pass one hops, intended for Lynn. Now it's going to be third down and short. Some of the numbers on the new version of Stanford Stadium, as we said, the capacity of 50,000. New stadium had 2 decks. The old stadium was a classic oval. New stadium, closest seat to the field, 45 feet away. In the old stadium, you were 115 feet away. Completely remodeled in 42 weeks. That's really the story.
Certainly remarkable. What a wonderful job that was done here at Stanford.
There's Edwards again. Now he's in trouble. Has to step up and is going to be stopped. And Stanford's going to be looking at a 4th down here.
No, I see no reason why they shouldn't go for it on 4th down.
Oh, yeah. They can't punt the ball. I mean.
And they will go for it.
Well, I'd huddle up. Well.
Maybe 3-man rush. This time the swing for Gerhardt. Gerhardt's going to be stopped short of the 1st down. The fumble, and they're going to say incomplete pass. No, they're going to say he was stopped. And it's going to be given over to the Naval Academy anyway because he stopped short of the 1st down. So no matter what, Navy's going to have the ball. And things continuing to go all right for Navy. And they're making it go all right. You got to give it up for the Middies. They have played great.
They have, absolutely. They run that option to perfection. Defensively, they're doing enough to keep Stanford with only 9 points. So, you know, they're doing a lot of good things. They're a good football team.
And you notice that that wide swing pass that Stanford got there, the Navy man just tackled the Stanford man right on the spot. Didn't miss the tackle.
Oh, he's fresh.
Yeah, he's fresh. That's right.
Kahayako Inada is now the quarterback for Navy. And they give it a haul straight ahead, or rather Inada on the keeper. And he'll get a 1st down down to the 39-yard line. So they're not missing a beat. Kaipo Noah Kaheaku Inada.
The quarterback.
That's the quarterback. Sophomore from Kapoi High in Hawaii.
Actually, last week against UMass, they brought him early because Hampton was having such an off game that they used him quite a bit last week.
Well, they say coaching staff says he's the best athlete on the team. And this time they give the haul. That was not quite as in sync as most of the plays Navy's run today.
I think Navy's using some of their backups, no question about that. And they should be.
Yep.
Give these guys a chance to travel and play a Pac-10 school.
Get ready, you know, get them more prepared for next year.
Sure.
Beat up on a Pac-10 school.
Yeah.
2nd down and 8. Kaheaku Inada under center once again. And the pitch this time.
Trouble. Look at this.
And on the pitch, that was Greg Shinego.
You know, and what you see downfield are literally Stanford defenders on the ground.
Yeah, no question, and they're not reacting quickly enough, and then they just get blocked. And San Jose State did the same thing.
Yeah. 333 yards rushing now for the Naval Academy. It's just about their average for the year. Give this time to the fullback Hall, nothing doing.
Now they're exactly at their average. 135 yards. That 2-yard gain.
408 yards of total offense. I mean, they have just put a whooping on the Stanford Cardinal. There's no doubt about it. Nothing fluke about it.
Nope.
Well, Navy last started 3-0 a couple of years ago. Finished the season 10-2. Stanford started 0-3 in 1987. Finished 5-6. Inada, the quarterback, he's going to cut it inside, take it down to the 13-yard line. He's going to have another 1st down.
Yeah, that was a design run for the quarterback there. He just had everybody blocking. I think they use it just to take time off the clock.
It's just a quarterback sweep that time. He goes outside, follows his blockers, tucks the ball in right away so you know it's a run from the start. And a good 10-yard run and a pickup of a 1st down.
Down to the 12-yard line. Well, Johnson pretty relaxed right now, as well he should be. There's a pitch this time to Shigeto, and he cuts it inside, gets down to the 5. Flag is down to the 1-yard line. It was Singleton, I beg your pardon, Irvin Singleton.
I think we had obviously a downfield block that was illegal.
One of the very few, I can't remember another holding penalty against Navy, quite honestly. I remember one on the defensive end, but not on the offensive end.
Yep. They keep their hands in. And
yeah.
Well, they cut.
Offense, number 75. 10-yard penalty,
Replay, first down.
And one of the reasons is, Barry, is they cut block. They're always on the ground, crab blocking,
right.
Knocking the defenders down.
There's a left tackle pulling right here. And he's grabbing. You see the grabbing. But otherwise, look at the big running lane.
Yeah. So the ball now back at the 20-yard line. And the give is to Hall, and Hall will get it to about the 16. Got about 3 or 4 of it back. It'll be second down now. Egbo on the tackle for Stanford.
Bill, have you ever coached the triple option? No?
I did in the strike year. Oh. Remember we ran that wishbone, and I didn't know what I was doing, but it was fun.
You didn't have to run it when Freddie Solomon was your emergency?
Oh, no, I didn't do that. But we ran it against the New York Giants, and Bill Parcells got a big kick out of it.
There's a pitch to McCoy, and McCoy is wrapped up that time on a good defensive play. So now it'll be third down. Kaheaku Inada was 1 of 4 passing for 21 yards last week against UMass. Don't really think that Navy will put the ball up here with 2:30 remaining.
I wonder if we've lost any of our audience, Barry.
Not on the East Coast.
That's right.
And they are going to put it up. Kaheaku Inada,
Screen pass.
Here it is. And it is McCoy. Kind of ran away from his blocking, too. And that's not going to get anything done. And the clock ticks down to 1:59 inside of 2 minutes remaining.
Oh, boy.
It's going to be 4th down and 10. That will bring on the field goal team. And Joey Bullen, who's been perfect tonight, will have a chance to put another 3 on the board. He'll hit this just on the other side of the 20-yard line. It'll be about a 31-yard effort.
Jim, what if you were the coach now? What would you? You were Walt Harris. What would you do other than go have a cocktail?
Well, yeah. You mean when the offense takes the field?
No, when the game's over.
Oh. Well, I'll tell you after the break.
All right, I'll give you time to think about it here. Minute and a half left. 34-9. Navy will try to tack 3 more on when we come back.
At GMC, our engineers seek out technology that can give our SUVs improved control and apply it. Introducing the all-new 2007 GMC Yukon. With StabiliTrack, featuring active sensors that read the road 500 times per second, providing an enhanced level of stability. Looking beyond the drawing board is just one more way we engineer to the highest standard, professional grade.
On your wedding day, it's all about the bride. Her dress, her flowers, her hair. But when everyone is looking at her, she'll be looking at you. So rent your tuxedo at Men's Warehouse, and you'll look almost as good as she does. You're gonna like the way you look. I guarantee it.
Well, today's Pontiac game-changing performance has been brought to you by Pontiac. Be sure to check out the new performance machines today at your local Pontiac dealer. And Brian Hampton is our game-changing performance of the day. A couple of touchdowns for him, really making amends for the fact that his coach pulled him out of the game last week against UMass in a 21-20 Navy victory. Tonight, saw his numbers, a couple of scores. I'm sure Paul Johnson will remind him of a couple of bad pitches that he made. That's about the only thing that Navy's done wrong tonight. So a 30-yard field goal try here. And it is on its way, and it is nearly perfect. With 1 minute and 26 seconds remaining to be played in the game, Navy has increased its lead to 28. It's a 37-9 Navy lead over Stanford. 10 plays, just 36 yards, but it ate up 6 minutes and 8 seconds.
Well, Jim, what would you do?
Oh, yeah. Well, you know, number one, I'd get on a little bit and let him know that they can play better, and I feel they can play better, and they will play better. And number two, I'd keep them pumped up because it's a long season. It's only the third game of the season, and I'd try to give them as much confidence building as I can, even after a game like this. But you got to let them know that they can play better. They can eliminate some of the mistakes they did. If they get beat physically, they get beat. But I'm sure also some, mistakes were made along the defensive line, the slides, the coverage, those kinds of things can be corrected.
Yeah, you're so right.
Here's what Navy has ahead. They played Tulsa and UConn. Those are both, you have to think, winnable games for them. And Air Force, that'll go a long way toward deciding the Commanders' Cup. Rutgers, who's playing great this year. And then they play Notre Dame, and they always play Notre Dame tough. Notre Dame got spanked today by Michigan. So a bright season on the horizon for the Middies. And again, good special teams coverage by the Naval Academy. Now for Stanford, they are 0-3, looking ahead to Washington State. Washington State was a winner today over Baylor, so they're going to come in here 2-1. They play at UCLA, and the Bruins have been playing very well. Then they got to go to Notre Dame. They have to play Arizona. Arizona did get spanked by LSU last week, won its game today, and is considered, I think, one of the up-and-coming teams. They play ASU, USC, Washington, which is a lot better this year, so it's not going to get any easier for the Cardinal. T.C. Ostrander in the ball game now for Stanford, throws that one to Yancey, and Yancey will get it up to the 42-yard line inside a minute remaining.
And he's a local high school product out of Palo Alto.
Yeah, he's the heir apparent for this for the quarterback job next year. And he is a real talent. He's a good football player.
Ostrander has actually started a couple of ball games for Stanford. Out of the gun this time. Throws to the sideline to Kimball, and Kimball will take it out of bounds short of midfield. 47 seconds left. Now it's all about pride for the Cardinal. And you certainly can't hang this loss on Trent Edwards. I mean, he did everything he possibly could.
No, you can't.
Especially, those first few passes were dropped, which, hurt the Stanford Cardinal early in the ball game.
And Stanford's overcome these kind of losses before. I mean,
Edwards 23 of 35 for 254 yards, well, about 240 yards on the night. Ostrander this time has to scramble away, and now he's just wrecked. Second sack of the game. 35 seconds remaining. Stanford has timeouts to use. I'm sure they will not use them. And they will have a week to get the bleeding stopped before the Cougars come to town. That pass complete to Sherman.
But if you remember a few years ago when they went to the Rose Bowl, they just got killed by, Texas. I think it was 70-something to something, and then Washington up there when Tuiasosopa had a monster game, 200-yard passing, 200 yards rushing.
I'm just going to make a wild prediction here. Stanford's not going to go to the Rose Bowl this year.
Well, I don't.
Who's to say they won't be there?
Are they playing at UCLA?
Maybe they can get tickets. I don't know.
Aren't they playing at UCLA? What'd you say?
Jim has answered the question.
That's right. They are going to the Rose Bowl. They got to play UCLA.
No, there's been some terrible losses by Stanford, and they've come back. Many years ago, they lost to UCLA 72-0.
Right.
Next week, they beat Washington, who had beaten UCLA. So it's not predictable.
Ostrander straight back, last play of the game very likely, and nice defensive play that time by Blake Carter to knock it away for the Middies. Well, it won't be the last play because that pass was incomplete. The clock will stop. 3 seconds remaining.
It looks like they're going to throw a Hail Mary into the end zone. What else can you do at this point?
So Ostrander, with all day to throw it, just launches it toward the end zone. We're going to have a jump ball here and Navy just simply knocks it down and puts the finishing touch on a brilliantly played game by the Naval Academy. They beat the Stanford Cardinal and wreck their home opener in the new stadium here, and I mean wreck it, 37-9. This was one of those games that Navy just put away right at the beginning. They took advantage of some Stanford turnovers. They had a turnover themselves that their coach, remember, told Amy Gutierrez that going off at halftime, he should have had a 17-0 lead. Well, they really put a hurt on Stanford in the second half, and they win it by the final score of 37-9. Guys, I don't know. I mean, I think this is just an absolute dominant performance for the Middies.
They're a very, very good team. They're not a top 10 team, but they're very, very good, and Stanford has a long way to go.
Yeah, they do. Navy dominated the game on both sides of the ball, and as Coach said, Stanford needs to improve and improve quickly because they start the Pac-10s pretty soon.
Yeah, going to get tougher from here for the Stanford Cardinal, too. Washington State's no gimme either, and they come calling here at Stanford Stadium just 1 week from today. Well, for our director, John Ward, our producer, Delora Lewis, coordinating producer, Joe Washington, my partners, Jim Plunkett, Bill Walsh, I'm Barry Tompkins, saying so long from Palo Alto. Once more, Navy defeating Stanford, the final score 37-9. A reminder to tune in to FSN Bay Area all season long for exciting college football action. Check your local listings for the dates and times. Once more, our final score tonight, Navy 37, Stanford 9. So long, everybody.